and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk.
Councilor Comito.
Present.
Councilor Janik.
Present.
Councilor DiMederos.
Present.
Councilor Edwards.
Present.
Councilor Paull.
Present.
Councilor Perry.
Present.
Councilor Burke is absent.
Councilor Burke will be a couple minutes late. Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. Would any members of the council like to remove any items from the consent agenda? If not, I'd like to, Councilor Janik.
A1.
All right. Any other councilors like to remove any items from the consent agenda? So moved. He's Councilor Comito is pulling one off, yes. A3. The budget transfers are B and C. Was it police or municipal? Councilor Comito.
4B.
All right, so B, not 3. Got it.
I want 3.
Okay. Any other members of the council like to pull any items off the consent agenda?
Anything left?
There's a couple. All right, Councilor Perry?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Okay, Councilor Janik. D1.
D1. This is the departmental monthly report. It's on page 5. I know they're not numbered, but it starts at the top, number 4, Town Hall. Halfway down, director meetings, there's an item that's highlighted. Jim Long requested review, but meeting with new department heads to discuss how review letters are requested. And it's highlighted, so I'm assuming someone wanted us to take note of this. And I was just questioning if there was something we needed to know.
Accident.
Mr. Administrator?
So I would just ask that, I'll speak with, I'll speak with the planning department just to find out if this was a cut and paste or something that was included. I agree that, you know, the fact that it's highlighted is unusual.
Right.
But I'll be able to find out and I can get back to you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome.
All right, Councilor DiMederos, A3.
Right. Oh, HB, wait, Denise here. So if you look at financial highlights, it says gaming FY 2026 gaming revenue. Town Treasurer's Office, your report, the first page. FY 2026 gaming revenue. Fund number 650, what is that account? 47.
It's $47,531. So that's what we've collected so far this year. That is not a fund balance.
All
That's
right,
just.
I just wanted to make sure. All right, because I didn't know if that was a separate account
No,
or,
I
okay.
report each month.
I get
what
it
we've
now
collected
because it's
for the current
2025,
year.
but I was 2026. I didn't, I don't know. Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Councilor Comito, B.
Under 4B, so the account 1140-5101, department, and the salary, building.
Yeah.
And that goes over to staff salary asking. So we transfer over into it, and then a couple of lines down, we transfer out again of staff salaries to department manager salaries. So I don't know, we're in and out, I just don't understand.
I do have a question too. This is to reconcile this year's budget.
Fiscal 25.
20, okay.
This is, yeah, fiscal 25 shortage.
But I see what he's saying.
So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The fifth line down is planning department, planning and building, moving to planning and building. If you go down a couple more lines, staff salaries, AFSCME, that's the tax collector's office. It's a different department, 2150.
Staff salaries, asking, staff salaries.
So there's a staff salary line in each department.
I think what he's asking is why would you put it in ASME and then take it back out?
It's not, it's two different accounts.
It's two different
The
accounts.
wording is the same.
The wording is the same, so if you look at your regular monthly reports, every department has a department manager, staff salaries, longevity, overtime.
But Denise, if you're taking 2876 out and putting it into ASME, and then taking that money and putting it into the collector's office.
No, they're two
I
separate
know they're two
departments.
separate accounts. Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah, the first number is, yes. So it's just, it's the same word as usual.
Right.
Okay.
All set with that? Okay.
Any further questions? All right. With that, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve 4A1, 3, and 4B.
So moved.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Okay, next item on the agenda, general business, Council President, or Council Vice President Paull. Discussion on outstanding previously allocated casino gaming funds. Councilor Paull.
Thank you, Mr. President. So this is, as the administrator is aware, and some council members, this is something that I'm kind of hot on here. Every year we allocate funds, some requested, others allocated for whatever reason. Some of these items, going back to 2021, 22's allocations have not been spent. For example, onto the gaming revenue, we have recreation. I'm looking at the back of the packet from the treasurer's report under the gaming revenue.
1650.
Yeah, for example, recreation feasibility study, 23,211 is still in that account. Are we doing it, are we not? Lower level dehumidifiers, 1,500. Again, these go back 2 or 3 years, some of these requests. Lower level fireproof cabinets, 15,000. This is all money that if they're not gonna spend it, should be back in the pot now, so that way we can maximize what we're allocating. There's other ones here too, but I mean, I think we should kind of go through these. The second one under the gaming. Fund 650, gaming capital at the top.
They all say there's 640, page 1, and there's 650, page 1. Count 650, 40, 78, 40, recreation feasibility study.
Yeah, to give you another example though, correct, the 650,000, for example, for the recycling center, that for obvious reasons, you know, that's there, it's staying there, but there are other things that we have outstanding balances on. I believe if the project has been completed, the remaining funds go back into gaming. Please.
Madam Treasurer.
So if you recall, I think in July, we went over all of the closed projects, and anything remaining went back to gaming.
Correct.
So anything that I didn't have an answer on, or was
Yes.
potentially still in process, is what you see here.
Yep, and that's what I wanted to clarify, is that
Okay.
that stuff, that outstanding projects that have not been completed is pretty much what the target is here.
So I can't speak to the recreation feasibility study. If you recall, that was originally 75,000, and then you guys allocated 57,000 to pay for the adult fitness equipment out of that.
To be fair, I think that was 3 things that ended up getting lumped into one. Stu's nodding yes, yeah. That's okay, yeah, no, I just,
Yeah.
but the remaining balance was for the feasibility study, and I don't know if that's
Right.
okay.
As far as the dehumidifiers, we had been advised that when the HVAC went in for the town hall, that we wouldn't need them. But the truth is, in the basement, we still need them. And it's been an issue because there's nobody there to continually empty them when they're running. And when it's rainy, muggy, it's not pleasant. So I'm hoping that we can figure something out to buy some.
The
And
money's
fi-
there. The money's there.
And the fireproof cabinets, now that we know where the server room is going to be, and they've emptied out municipal court, and I have been granted access to that space, we're filling it with filing cabinets, because a lot of our filing cabinets are in the dirt room, and I just can't go back there anymore. It's not healthy.
Dirt room.
Yeah.
Never been in there?
Madam
No.
Treasurer, would it be fair to say that your office is continually seeking updates on these projects, and that if there are
Yes.
any updates, you will advise the council?
I had WB Mason measure out that new room, and she's going to price out the cabinets
Perfect.
with the furniture purchase. As far as the dehumidifiers, I think we need to like talk to Phil, the chief, and figure out what we're going to do, because we used to have some, and then we had one in the hallway. And when it fills with water, we're scrambling to empty it, and it's not emptied on a regular basis, it shuts off. And then, you know, if it's filling up on the weekend, it shuts off. So you come in on Monday morning and you know that it's full and it's been off.
Would it be wiser to look into a different type of system? I believe they have whole basement
Well,
systems.
yeah, but not for $1,500.
No, I get it, but I know somebody that actually has one in their basement. It's a full basement,
Yeah.
like hardwired dehumidifier system. Constantly shifts the air, but
Well, now that we've cleaned everything, well, a lot of things have been moved and they're still in the storage. But, you know, the plan, I think, is to work with everybody and only bring back what we absolutely need down in the basement to kind of organize it a little better, because there was things in there that, well,
It's a simple fix. The maintenance should be able to just pipe them outside, plug them in, run a tube, they run forever, nobody empties anything.
I appreciate
Simple.
your update. As Denise can tell you, this goes back to
oh, yeah,
actual capital. When I would say the DPW order XYZ yet, it's December. They asked for it July.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't order it yet. You need it, buy it,
yeah.
or don't ask.
I do have one question. On page 3, this is definitely of what David was looking at. So when it says DPW equipment transfer unspent 12,000, remaining 12,000, what's that?
Are you looking on page 3?
Page 3,
Yeah.
gaming cap.
Fund 650.
Yeah,
Okay, so page 3 reads the report recap,
okay.
right?
I got it,
So
right.
that just kind of takes all the stuff by department and totals it.
So when you're doing boards and commissions, it's really recreation.
There's boards and commissions there, there is Pecasset Cemetery in there.
Yes,
It's
okay.
all based on the numbering system.
Okay.
So the DPW item that's $12,000 is that tower generator connector, which I don't even know what it is.
Well, I don't even know. So
It's
that's,
got something to do with the fire and police radio project.
so page 3 is just a recap.
It's just a
total
recap of,
the other two.
right, right.
Okay. Any further questions for the treasurer?
I am satisfied with that. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you,
All set?
Thank you, Madam Treasurer.
Might as well just sit there.
Oh, okay.
I think the treasurer is probably all done at this point.
You think so?
I think so. Because now our next item on the agenda is discussion and possible vote to allocate casino gaming funds via resolution 2025-0031. You all have the resolution in front of you. I'm looking for a motion to pass the resolution.
So moved.
Motion been made and seconded. Discussion, Counselor DiMederos.
So we're buying,
I was just going to say, we should-
Councilor Burke's not here, but it's one of his pet peeves. We always, why are we doing this without looking at everything else?
So that is
So,
a
this
fair
is-
question. I'm happy to answer that for you.
Okay.
So the administrator, after reviewing all of the requests for capital expenditures, determined that there were a handful of immediate needs, especially out of the DPW garage, where we literally do not have the ability to field plow trucks should there be a snowstorm. The plow trucks are available. If we expend the dollars immediately, we can get the plow trucks that we need so that come the wintertime, which we're going to blink and it's going to be here, the DPW will be able to plow the streets and maintain safety. The reason why we are not looking at any other allocations is twofold. So, number one, obviously, we're sitting on $5.4 million in casino money that we can allocate. And it is my belief that we should do proper due diligence rather than knee-jerk, make a bunch of decisions this evening, call it good, and then wind up coming back here in 3 years with Counselor Paull asking, hey, what's going on with some of these money? They haven't been spent. So my thought process here is that We take care of the immediate gotta-have-ems as requested by our town administrator. And everything else, we take a look at, we discuss. We allow the public to provide some input because they're obviously going to have an opportunity to see what we're looking at and what the town may or may not need to acquire. And then from that point, we can come back at the next meeting, make some decisions.
Could the DPW director, is he here? Oh, yeah. Could he come up and explain to me
Yeah,
why we
so-
need those trucks?
So, I mean, this is all great, John, but an explanation that goes along with this would be,
Like,
I would love to
so
know.
you're asking for 480. So could you explain that to me, what those trucks are?
Yeah, so if you recall, the last time I was here and spoke, we have 4 working plow trucks for 9 routes. So we have one that is almost complete, that was approved when I first started back in July. That's how
That'll make
long
five.
it takes, well, the total will be 4 if we get these other 3.
Okay,
So, but that's how long it takes to get these things in. So even if you okay the money today to get these trucks ordered, by the time they come to the dealership and get upfitted with plows and sanders and the lift gates, you're looking at February.
so we have 4 working trucks available to us right now.
Correct,
You have 1 coming in that we already approved.
correct,
And you want 3 more
correct.
to make the total of 8.
8.
And how many routes do you have?
We have 9 plow routes and,
I'm doing this on purpose so
nope,
people
yep.
can see why
Our
we're
mechanic
out.
is actively working on trucks consistently. Multiple trucks went down last week, heading to Johnston and back. The hydraulics blew, so they couldn't dump the material. So this is a constant battle because I don't think the department's bought a new vehicle in 20-plus years.
A new one, but we bought used or replaced or fixed.
Well, that's come to roost.
That's coming. And these trucks can also be used throughout the season for other things.
Correct. They're gonna have dump bodies, so they're gonna have sanders in them that can be removed and can be used throughout the year.
Which we totally need those too.
Correct. If you want to move material in the summertime and put,
Right.
branches and grass that we mow and stuff, things we pick up on roadside, it would be
Okay.
best that we have something that you can use year-round.
That's all I needed was that explanation, Deb.
Are these
Counselor
the-
Janik.
These are the 3 first items on our list? The F600 with liftgate plow and the 2 F600s with plow and sander? It's
Correct.
those 3?
Yes, and then is there a tractor as well?
Kubota.
Thank you.
And plus the Kubota.
Yes. We don't have a tractor right now to mow and clear intersections.
So you're right.
Counselor
We already approved didn't we already approve the F-600 with the liftgate?
Correct, 1.
One?
Yes,
So-
sir.
So this is an additional one?
Yes,
You want
so it
addition,
was
so you want one with a plow and sander and an additional one with a liftgate?
2 with plow and just plow and sander and 2 lift gates.
Okay.
So that in case 2 crews need the lift gate, or if a lift gate isn't working, we have another one to use.
All right.
Any further questions for the DPW director? Counselor Perry.
I just have a question. I happen to be at the DPW in Fall River today, and you came out of New Hampshire, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do they keep the trucks outside in New Hampshire and not inside a building?
No, they're all inside the building.
They're all inside buildings?
Yes, sir. The state is. I can only speak for the state.
Okay. Because he was telling me that keeping them inside the building is the worst thing we can do for them. Because the concrete in the summertime gets heated and kind of rots out the bottoms of the trucks.
Well, so they would wash the vehicles and then bring them inside so that they were out of the weather, especially on the weekends if, nobody was around.
Right. We do have the salt washer in there, right, correctly?
I know we have a pressure washer.
Pressure washer
Yes,
down
sir.
the end of your building? Is that
I
right?
believe it's just, something we can bring in and out of the building.
Okay. I thought we put in a system years ago where the trucks went in and got automatically cleaned.
That is not the case
Not
that I am
working?
aware of.
Okay.
I think, a couple of years ago, what took place is, on the end of the building, what you're referring to is some type of, it's like a lean-to. So I think the guys took upon themselves, and they made that lean-to to be out of the weather, and they dragged the pressure washer around so they can, in the snowstorms, they're out of the elements, to
That
wash
they
the
do
trucks
do.
down when they come at night, and then they park them.
Right, get the salt off them.
Yes, they have drains there, I believe, and,
Yep, that,
right, so like, and they, I think it goes to a tank too also, doesn't it? I'm not sure.
I'm not 100% on that either.
I'm pretty sure it went
but
out to the back to
I know
a-
it goes around that corner, and that's where they wash the vehicles.
Right, I think it goes to a tank outside, it collects all the salt and all the drainage. But they built that just to stay out of the elements. And then the trucks get washed down, emptied, and then they get put back into the stall.
Counselor DiMederos.
I have one for the town administrator. Just so everyone knows, the walkway is because you hit ledge,
Correct.
and so it's $21,000.
It was an overture. That is correct.
Okay, and the infrastructure wiring?
That is also the next item on your agenda, so we put that out to bid, and that's part of the ongoing town hall renovations for just the wiring and also the fiber connection, and also to move around some of the printers, definitely in the clerk's office and in all of the other respective offices, so we can have that. Also, if I might add, I'm sorry, ma'am, going back to the director's request too, part of this, which is why it's on your agenda tonight, is not only the timeline to get the trucks, but the director has been working with local vendors, and they gave him specific warranties, and they also gave him price matching, which expires on September 30. So it expires tomorrow. So that's why it is on your agenda tonight. Otherwise, it would have been up for consideration with everything else, but he has invoices that expire tomorrow.
Any further questions? All right. Counselor Camino.
So do we have enough employees to drive all 9 trucks?
Good question.
So the 8 we will have, yes, but we will be hiring 2 people from the outside to just help us drive trucks, and then 2 that will come with their own trucks. Which then we're hoping keeps Chris, the mechanic, at the shop, and Jody inspecting the roads that are being plowed.
Private contractors are going to
Correct.
That's usually somebody from the Teamsters or something like that, obviously, or no?
I just know it's passed,
They're steel workers at this point.
Yeah, they are steel workers at this point.
yeah, but
But
that's,
that's okay, Mike?
that's been,
So they would be covered? Okay, because that's the first time we've ever done that, I think.
no,
No? Okay.
No.
First time I ever heard of it.
okay.
Okay, thank you.
So, I mean, I really truly believe that we need to get those other people hired. We've been saying this for a while now. I know it's difficult. I'm not a fan of outside vendors driving our equipment. I just don't think they take the same pride in it. They don't maintain it like, they don't drive it like it's your own, right? So I have a hesitation on buying brand-new trucks for people to come, other people to drive besides our own departments.
And if I may, Counselor, I share your opinion, and I know the director does as well. Since the director has been appointed, we have had multiple interviews with candidates, but, you know, we want to hire the best people for the job. And given the current status and the competitiveness of other areas, we're actually working on, and I know that the director spoke to the superintendent of schools, he's trying to formulate a CTE program with the schools so we can bring in young men and women and get them coming right out of high school. And again, this is something that this is the first time we're talking about it. It was brought up during a department head meeting, but I bring that up as an example because the director is thinking outside the box and knowing that, you know, we have an opportunity to buy these trucks. It's going to be his first winter with us, and I know that he's going to make it work, but we are diligently trying to find qualified men and women that want to work for the town, specifically in DPW. So I can assure you that that is part of the equation, and it's also going to be part of the budget process coming in next year, so he can come in and present and evaluate and work with me and you to determine whether the proper workforce is in place and that we have the number of people that we need to do the job that the town expects us to do.
And Counselor Janik.
So those 2 new employees, they're contractors or they're employees?
No, we don't, we're trying to hire 2 employees.
2 employees?
Yep, they're open
And-
positions.
But they're
Counselor
op-
Janik, not to cut you off, but the solicitor has just informed me that we are kind of far afield on the topic.
Okay. I just want to know if they're going to be our employees or contracted.
I don't want to get too far from the hiring process where we are.
Okay. They're vacant positions, so they will be employees.
No, I know, but
That's what I wanted to know, Mike. Thank you.
Any further questions or discussion related to the resolution as outlined. Counselor Camino.
So the tractor, should that be in the same, should that be added into the resolution? Is there any time frame on the,
So the tractor is the piece of equipment that if we don't buy it by tomorrow, there's a 4-year warranty on it that it goes to a 1-year warranty.
okay, so the 115, that's part of the 480? Very good. Okay,
Kubota.
as long as that's in there.
All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor? None opposed?
I would ask him to stay, though.
Yes, then, well, 5B2, the first one is, but so I think that for ease of use on this procedure, because the administrator is familiar with all of these requests, probably we should direct our questions to the administrator first, as they have to, the department heads have to go to the administrator, and the administrator ultimately is the one who puts forward the recommendations to us.
So I think it's important that you hear from your department heads, because obviously and I know I've worked with many of the department heads, and the director, because DPW is first up, can kind of walk you through these requests, and then we can have further discussion about specific requests and what my recommendations are going to be, because a lot of it, counselors, are going to depend on knowing that you have a certain amount of money, how much money you want to spend, and how much money you basically want to keep in reserve. So knowing that all of the departments, and I know I broke it down in your backup, that if all the departments, and that does not include the school department, and I'll emphasize that, if all the departments, based on their requests on the municipal side, received everything that they were asking for, were over $4.3 million, which I know that is not tenable. So I think it's important to give the opportunity so your department heads can prioritize, and then we can have a discussion about that as well.
All right, so as we discuss the entirety of the ask, which is broken down by department, the first item being DPW, we can effectively, Mr. Director, cross off the F600s and the Kubota M6 and start with the John Deere 6100, John Deere 54-4E loader, so on and so forth.
Yeah,
that
if you
sound
don't
fair?
mind, I'll start at the Kubota, because it does more than one thing.
Yeah, but we
Wonderful.
already approved that.
We did approve the capital expenditure on the Kubota, but if you'd
just
like to tell us all about it.
In explanation of the
yes.
next item after it.
Oh,
So the Kubota is a 4-wheel drive tractor that will not only have a side mower out the back, but is going to pull the beach rake. So we'll finally have a tractor to pull the beach rake. With that being said, since that will be doing other things besides mowing, we're still asking for a John Deere tractor that will use the boom mower. The boom mower does all your roadside mowing and your intersections where there's more brush than grass. Okay, so once that gets going in the spring, it doesn't stop until sometime in September.
what are we doing to do that now? What are we using to do that now?
Nothing, because it's broken and can't be fixed.
Okay, and that's probably something used we bought and kept repairing. Okay.
Correct.
Mr. Director, to continue on that line of questioning, and again, I don't expect you to have the answer as you're new. It was my understanding that previous council did authorize a previous administrator to purchase a brand-new tractor. So if the one that we have today and the boom mower, that took, I believe...
It's my understanding the boom mower
boom
is
was purchased new? Okay.
But the tractor is used.
Got it. That was not the intent of the prior council, I can tell you that.
That's why I'm asking.
All right? The John Deere loader, our current loader needs at least $20,000 in repair and should probably go to John Deere to have that work done. It's significant hydraulic work that needs to be done that our mechanic believes if we do get it fixed, it would be ideal for just loading salt into the trucks so that a new loader to do all the rest of the work that the loader does would be appropriate. Because it does go around town, especially to like town farm, to do work or any types of materials that we need to load into trucks outside the yard, out in the public. We need to get a loader other places in town. Our current asphalt hot box is at a dealership, getting worked on with no time frame to come back. So again, we'd like to have a new asphalt hot box and have the one that's in repair be a backup, because even when you get these things new, there's so many pieces to them that they will go down. So it'd be nice to have a backup. We were asked for the minivan for maintenance.
Can we just go back to the loader? I didn't, you were just going a little fast.
Sorry?
The loader that we have now, what year is that loader?
I don't have the specific year, but it is old and rusted.
Are we using that a lot? Is there a need for a
Yeah, so
load?
today we just loaded a bunch of picnic tables to get them down to the barn on Main Road and then to unload those picnic tables there. Again, we use them if we need to get materials from other places into our trucks. We use it to load the trucks in the wintertime.
And we use the present loader for that?
Correct, but right now it's leaking hydraulic fluid that we need to get fixed.
You may continue, Mr. Director.
Oh, are you all set, Counselor?
Yeah, sure.
So the minivan was asked by maintenance and helps to put and keep cleaning material like brooms and mops and all the cleaning sprays and that stuff in a vehicle that they don't have to constantly load every morning and unload. Right now, they're just using a Crown Vic and one maintenance truck. The chipper is also a piece of equipment that is down and is currently at a dealership being worked on. The truck that is assigned to me can be better used, especially in the wintertime with a plow and sander. It's an F-250.
Didn't we just buy that?
You did. But I'd like to give it to maintenance and have it used as a winter maintenance vehicle over a vehicle that is assigned to me personally. I believe that something smaller would be more appropriate for what my job is there, and the bigger vehicle used for actual maintenance of the roads and the buildings.
Not to the maintenance department per se.
I'm thinking that would be a good vehicle for the maintenance department because they're borrowing dump trucks from the highway side to go get trash at the beaches and at the rec facilities. So if they had the F-250, they wouldn't have to ask permission to use other trucks that may also be going out with the road crew. And then in the winter time, we can put a plow and sander on it.
And they can do the town hall.
That truck would be perfect for that
the
stuff.
smaller- the smaller lots.
Right, and I was told that sometimes the smaller vehicles go behind the larger vehicles on certain plow routes to help clean intersections and cul-de-sacs,
Can do the fire stations.
any of that type of stuff.
Always the fire stations, Counselor, come in.
But we never get plowed, so it's a problem. That's why I'm asking, that's why I'm saying it. Or we buy them a plow.
The clamshell truck
I've done it
is,
many years.
the clamshell truck has a rotted bed, so we can't put material in it anymore. So that's why we're asking for new clamshell truck.
So can you just explain that a little bit? I
Yeah,
don't-
do we use that often?
We use it all summer to clean out catch basins.
Oh, this is the one, the crane.
That has, the crane comes down, it has,
Picks it up.
yeah, exactly, pulls up the material out of the catch basins. The bed is now rotted to where the material is coming out.
Which was the old sweeper that we converted into the clamshell
Right.
truck.
Well, so ironically, we bought a new sweeper with all the bells and whistles to include the catch basin vacuum,
That does have a vacuum.
but that'll take away from sweeping the streets.
Correct.
Oh. Oh. So when they're sweeping the streets, they can't clean the basins?
Not with a street sweeper.
Mr. Director, on the clamshell truck, is it strictly the bed, and would it be potentially advantageous to look at replacing the bed, or is this vehicle just completely and totally garbage?
The vehicle is garbage. It is, I think it's 20-plus years.
My term, not yours.
20-plus years old, and what we are looking to do, though, a new clamshell truck is more in like the 400,000 range for everything to be brand new, so, but all the equipment besides the bed on the current truck can be switched to a new chassis.
Okay.
So that's how we're trying to keep that cost.
That truck's a
Low.
2002. The map, the clamshell on that.
The Ford F-550 that's on here is something we're calling a mobile mechanic, so that we don't have to tow everything back to the shed to be worked on. If it's something that can be done out in the field and keep the vehicle that is being worked on working, this truck would have a bunch of the mechanics' equipment on it, including welders, generators, and compressors. We'd have a forklift on here to help with some of the mechanics lifting around the yard. These are used forklifts, which is why it's a decently priced piece of equipment. And then other mechanics asks are a half-ton jack, a tire changer, and the welder. The idea of the welder at the bottom is to go on the Ford F-550 mobile mechanic vehicle.
Could we go back to the truck for a minute? How many trucks do we have right now? Because we bought a bunch of trucks recently, didn't we?
Correct.
Two.
We bought two,
Well, we
so
bought
one's
the
for the
one
foreman,
for-
one's for the director.
Okay, so we have those two.
Yes, those are the only ones that are new.
Okay.
And then I believe.
And the others are very
Dave's
old.
looking at the list, I believe to help me, there's like 11 other ones, but most of them are,
2019 is the newest truck after that. That's the Ford 550 and a Ford 750. Number 13 and number 7. That probably broke. You probably-
I think that most of them are sitting off to the side of the
Alright.
I think Denise
garage
is meaning like
broken.
pickup trucks, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. I think we only have 2.
we only have two. Okay. Thanks, Dave.
Sorry, yes, there's two new pickup trucks.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
Counselor Janik.
Question for the administrator, because I know you are the king of grants. Is anything under here even remotely look like we could get grant money for?
All of it. But, and we do have a grant with the Congressional Committee, but not to get political with politicians, not knowing what's coming out of the government at this point, facing potentially a government shutdown. But I do stay in contact with, our federal delegation and our partners. But we did submit a grant through our congressional delegation for $800,000 for the DPW. So that is one of the grants that is still pending and it is still alive. But, you just don't know.
Right.
It is guesswork with the grants.
But if we get the grants, we could put it back into the casino.
If we get the grants, it's specific. Now, if it's a grant, two things. There'll more than likely be a match. And one, the grant would need to be used specifically for what the intended purpose would be to buy the DPW vehicles.
And if
But-
we're all being honest about the political spectrum at the federal level, the likelihood of a deep blue state getting any money is short of us attaching a, mobile ice facility to like one of the F-550s is basically zero. Like,
But if we were,
Yes, ma'am.
and we got the grant and we had approved something, we could use money toward the match, but then we could put the rest of it back into the casino fund.
Yes, ma'am. I would like to think, so I would caution you, you'd reimburse yourself for the
Correct.
purchase.
Correct.
So if you take that purchase or the match out of the gaming revenue, we could put back our match, or the price of it minus the match.
Minus, right,
Minus the
whatever the
match.
difference is.
So, and I mean, to be realistic, I do not believe that we'll hear anything about this grant until next year. So it'd probably be this time next year in '26, realistically, that we'd have any chance of getting any funds. And I said $800,000. I mean, it could be nothing. It could be $100,000. We don't know.
Pat, did any of that grant money, that 800,000 that you put in for, have to do with any police cruisers?
This one, it wasn't specific to police cruisers this time because we kind of focus in on the USDA grant that we've always used, which is the Community Facilities Grant, because those are just more consistent. And knowing that we replace police cruisers on a more consistent basis, we kind of utilize that grant, knowing that this type of equipment, we're going to buy this and we're not going to be looking at replacements for probably 5 to 10 years.
All right, so, but that was two different
Yes, sir.
things.
Yes, sir. I'm always looking.
Counselor Janik. Okay. Mr. Administrator, thank you, Director.
I apologize for not having more detail. I'm on week 10 and I don't work on the equipment, so I apologize if I didn't get you what you needed.
You're doing a great job, sir.
Doing
I
great.
think most of us are aware that that equipment's been,
It's bad.
you're in a hot seat.
I appreciate you advocating.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda would be the fire department. It looks like they're looking for a number of things. I see the deputy chief, or the chief. There's the chief. He's hiding in the back.
I'll give you
Chief.
my seat.
I was just gonna say, yeah.
The rec director was blocking you.
Oh, here, no, Chief.
Please, you can go sit down. I'm going to ask you with the school questions.
Chiefs,
Yes, good evening.
thank you. So it looks like we're starting with a pumper.
Yes, I'm going to defer to the deputy because he did all the research on the apparatus and has all the quotes.
So the fire department is looking to purchase a new engine for Station 1. Currently, the truck's a 2011. It has 200,000 miles on it. In looking at purchasing a new apparatus for down south, we figured the best option would be to get a fire truck that has more water. We know South Tiverton, past Boogamarsh Road, has no hydrants. So the new engine we're looking at is a International. It's a commercial cab chassis. The reason we went with the commercial cab chassis is because the custom cab was 1.2 million. This one came in at 690. So for the same body, same pump, same tank, same everything. So the new engine would have 2,000 gallons of water instead of 1,000 gallons of water. So when the firefighters go to a call, they would have 2,000 gallons of water, hose, ladders, everything they need on one truck versus having to wait for the tanker or something like that.
Counselor.
We bought a fire truck that was a pumper also,
Yes.
correct?
Yes, that's the one that's being built right now.
That's being built right now.
that's
Is
gonna
that any different than what we're buying now?
Yes, so the truck that we are buying is for Station 3. It's more of it's a fire truck that carries 1,000 gallons of water, but it's more of a heavy rescue. It's going to carry like rescue type equipment such as the jaws and airbags and struts and all kinds of different things like that.
So this would be, so how many, so what's the ages of the other fire?
So engine 3 is a 2013. That's being replaced currently. Hopefully, the beginning of next year, that truck should be ready. The truck I'm looking to replace now is a 2011, and then the ladder truck is a 2020. And the reserve is the one that we just purchased. That's a 2000.
So you want to replace the 2011 with a pumper fire engine?
Yes, but we're basically looking to,
A pumper fire engine?
right, we're basically looking to change the way we operate in South Tiverton and have more water on the fire truck that goes out the door.
So we'd have two pumper trucks available to us.
No.
If they're both here,
We,
then we have one.
every day we have 2 pumper trucks available, as long as the ambulance is out on calls. So like, we have an engine at Station 1, we have an engine at Station 3, and the ladder truck's at Station 2 in North Tiverton.
I'm going to defer all of my questions to Counselor Comito as the resident expert, apart from the two experts in front of us.
I mean, this is in my opinion, a fantastic idea. This is going to improve the way the fire department runs and operates. So the way they operate now is, if there's a fire in the south end of Tiverton, they take the fire truck. The fire truck only carries 1,000 gallons of water. We have a tank truck that carries 2,500 gallons of water that sits in the fire station. They don't have the personnel to bring that truck to our fire. That truck gets used more for mutual aid, going to Little Compton, going to Westport, right, wherever they need water. This would give the opportunity for the fire department to show up with all the equipment they need, as far as ladders, things of that nature, the hoses, the proper equipment on it, where when you take a tank truck to a fire, you're basically bringing water and a couple of hoses, right? So it's a whole different operation. The only other thing that I think this could be a benefit of is, I believe the deputy was looking into possibly selling our tank truck for,
So there's a few options that
Right.
go down the road.
Explain that?
Yep. So if you guys agree to purchase this truck, it's 28 to 32 months out. So it could be almost 3 years before we actually see this truck. That's the new industry standard. It's terrible.
I'm sorry, Deputy. It's 20,
28 to 32 months.
and every year, how much do you estimate the cost?
I believe they usually go up 7 or 8% every year, so. Just in the time we looked at, just in the time this meeting's been pushed back, the price went up about $10,000. So, you know, but there are a couple options with the tanker. Obviously, we wouldn't be getting this new truck for approximately 3 years. But one option is to sell the truck. In some research today, I found comparables, anywhere from $60,000 to $165,000 for comparable tankers, used tanker trucks that it could be sold for. Another option is to keep the tanker and use it as a mutual aid truck if another town's calling for just water or just a mutual aid piece. They can, just the water, we don't have to send the engine out of town. The engine can stay in town, so callback personnel will have a fire truck to use when they come back off duty. That would also give us the opportunity to have an extra 2,500 gallons of water in the station if in the future the manning changes or something like that. So the
Chief,
tanker doesn't owe us anything. I mean,
I have a follow-up.
it could make money though. So.
I have a follow-up question for you.
Yes.
I know I said I would yield to Counselor Camino, but did I just hear you correctly that if we purchase this today, we're not going to see it for 3 years?
Yes,
Okay.
28 to 32
So
months.
we'd essentially be locking up $700,000 for 3 years.
So there's a few options on how you pay for this truck. I'm sure we can talk to the dealership. You can spend the money now, or you can pay for it when it arrives.
The unfortunate part, I think, in the way that our ordinance is written is we can only encumber the funds that we have today from last fiscal and then trailing fiscals. We can't encumber future fiscal casino dollars. So it would effectively be us locking up $700,000 for the next 3 years.
Right, so, and I understand that. There's nothing that we can actually do about the
It's
fire
out of
truck
your hands,
industry
I get
right
it.
now.
Yeah.
The reason we got lucky with engine 3 that we purchased is that was an in-stock demo truck, so the lead time on that was much faster. When you look at this type of truck, there is nothing out there of what we're trying to accomplish. It's either an engine or a tanker. There's no like middle road as a demo truck.
Deputy, being a non-custom
Cab.
and chassis, would the delivery time any faster?
It is. So the custom cab that we were looking at, that was 1.2 million, was 36 to 40 months. It was more, and it was $1.2 million, so.
But being a commercial cab,
Yes.
it's,
And one of the things we looked at, the reason, if you look at the drawings of the truck, if you want to see them, I have them. We tried to keep the truck as short as it can, as short as wheelbase we could have. I think the truck's only 30 feet long. Trying to maximize every inch of space in that truck to make it the most functional truck that we can have.
and you're comfortable being just a two-man?
Yes. Yes, and I feel like if, in 20-plus years, I've never seen more than 2 guys at Station 1, other than during storms. If we do that, we can send a forestry truck down south, we could put the guys in the ambulance, it's a 4-wheel drive ambulance, so we'd be able to staff extra bodies on one of those trucks if we needed to.
Counselor Janik, we're going to come back to you in a second. The solicitor would like to weigh in on the
So
comment that
I
I
just
made.
heard your comment, and I'll defer to the treasurer on this, but I don't think the ordinance only says that we have to allocate money that we have in our bank. We can't do future, but if you know that this is going to cost you $690,000, you can certainly encumber like a third now,
what I was just gonna-
a third to the second year, and a third to the fourth year, so that you're freeing up money. But we know, as long as the casino's here and the statute doesn't change, we're going to be getting that money.
So my question to you, well, and this is, I guess, kind of a broader comment, but it's my understanding that there is another casino entity up in Taunton that's a startup, that the state is rather worried about this. And our casino payment, the minimum, the 3.1 million we get, is predicated on the fact that the state's essentially, they're cutting us another $1.25 million a year that we don't technically earn. So if the state were to face declining revenues, I wouldn't be shocked if they came back and changed our deal, which they have
Well, they could. I
the
mean,
complete authority
yeah.
to do so.
It's all by statute. As you know, when we had COVID, they stopped those payments.
Correct.
So,
Which is why
yes.
we are in the position that we're in today as far as the spending of the dollars. But my problem would be is that I guess, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't this tacitly us saying that we are going to tie the hands of future councils?
Well, yes, but we've done that before with other trucks and whatnot. So, I mean, again, it's,
What we did, we had it, we taxed the residents for it. That's different than coming out of the casino funds. And then we basically took out of the casino funds and paid off the last apparatus that the fire department wanted, that we still had like 7 time payments left on.
No, the ladder truck was paid off with the last money, and then the engine that's coming in was paid in full with casino revenue. It was not financed, and that hasn't been done. That was the first truck we've ever paid full like that. Which is great, because you save all the interest charges and stuff. Yeah, that was also done to take it off the tax base and lower the tax rate.
so that this, sorry, it's a policy choice on your part, but certainly, I don't, unless you spend all the money today, right?
Well, we're not spending any money.
No, but
other
today,
than the
today, I
480.
mean today.
Yeah.
I mean, like, this fiscal year. If you, I'm assuming we've always had a reserve, right, in that money, so if you know that you got 250 you could spend now and 250 next year to pay off this truck, like, that's, to me, that just makes sense. Why tie up all that money? But that's a policy decision, but there's nothing in the ordinance that prevents you from doing that. That's what I'm trying to say. Unless the treasurer has.
Counselor Janik, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
That's
off.
all right. The truck we got from Dartmouth, that's a pumper truck, right?
Yes, so that's a 2,000. It carries 1,000 gallons of water, and it serves as our reserve truck. So it's only used when the other trucks are broken down or anything like that. So
That's our newest truck, though, right?
it's our truck in the best condition.
Okay. So how many gallons of water approximately does it take to put out, like, the biggest fires that you see?
So it depends. I mean, we've had a few fires over the summer that we used over 150,000 gallons of water. We used that are multiple tankers that come to it. It depends what type of fire you're talking about. It depends if it's the junkyard on fire. It depends if it's just a house. But
Structure fire, like house
So,
fire.
yeah,
usually it depends, but I mean, the problem is in South Tiverton, there's no hydrants. So we
Right,
go with
but if
1,000
you-
gallons of water typically in one fire truck, and we try to knock the fire down the best we can with 1,000 gallons. And if we can't, we have no fire hydrant, now we're waiting for more water to show up. And it takes time to get Little Compton, Westport, and all the other mutual aid tankers.
to bring their trucks that are already filled with water to the scene.
Yep.
How long to fill those trucks later?
So when we were, over the summer, the fire in Westport, the XL recycling, that was an 18-minute turnaround time from the time they left the scene to the hydrant filled up and came back to the scene. So each truck that was there, it was taking them 18 minutes to do
To do the
a
turnaround?
round trip of a load of water of anywhere
And
from
that's
2,000
dependent
to
on
4,000.
location, too.
Right, exactly.
So
It
it
depends
could
where
be-
the hydrant
right,
is.
it could be longer.
Nearest hydrant is to the fire.
Thank you.
Okay. Excellent explanation. New car 3 and new car 4, Fire Marshal.
So we're looking to purchase a new car 3 and car 4. Car 3 is our incident command. It's our shift command to the captain, and car 4 is fire prevention. Car 3 has 114,000 miles. Car 4 has 116,000 miles.
Are these the Tahoes?
They're the 2017 Tahoes. Both vehicles are starting to have more maintenance needed. Both transmissions have been replaced in both of them. So we're looking to purchase a new Tahoe for car 3 and go to a Silverado for fire prevention. And these are the quotes that you see is for the amounts requested is for the vehicle purchase as well as the upfitting. So that's all the lights and the equipment in the truck.
Question for you on those. I don't expect you to know the answer, but do they have, since they're Chevy product, do they have the active fuel management on them?
I have the paperwork with me. I didn't
Not
read
the
that.
ones you're requesting. I mean, the ones that we have currently. They're the V8s that shut down to 4 cylinders.
I'm not 100% sure.
Right.
I don't
No?
think so. No, because they're the police package.
I was just curious because I know that GM is notorious for killing transmissions with active fuel management.
Yeah. So, I don't know, both transmissions have been replaced in both of those vehicles. But
It's just,
do you want me to keep going, or is there more?
yeah, by all means, continue.
All right, so the next thing was a skid unit for the John Deere Gator that we have. We've had this since 2017.
Legislative grant, right?
It was from your dad. And we've used it a few times, but we are looking for that 6725 to purchase a skid unit, which would be a 55-gallon water tank. There's a hose reel, a motor, and then there's also a spot for a Stokes basket or a backboard. So if we had to go into the woods for an injured party, we could lay them on that and bring them out. If there's a brush fire in the woods, we can bring that into the woods deeper than we can, any other trucks, or taking a long time to stretch all the hose into the woods, so.
Okay.
And then,
All right, so requesting funding for an inflatable boat, trailer, and motor. We currently only have one small Boston whaler, that boat that we can put in if we have a water emergency in a pond. My concern as the chief is if we had multiple victims and we had to go out with one boat and we retrieve somebody, we don't have another boat that we can put in. With our daytime staffing, with everybody on, I think it's possible that we could have two boats in the water during an emergency. And also, if there was a problem with the Boston whaler, this boat is simple to use. You don't need a boat ramp. You can carry it as long as you got water. You can drop it in. Very low maintenance, basically hose it off, let it dry. Not really a lot to it. It's simple to operate.
Okay.
Just
Counselor.
question on that, how would we get it to the scene? If we're taking the first boat with limited personnel, how do we get the second boat there, or what do we tow it with?
So we have, besides the forestry truck, there are other vehicles the Tahoes could tow. I'm guessing the Silverado truck would be able to tow. We have other options. And, even at that, after the forestry truck brings it there, they could actually go back and retrieve it and bring it to the scene so we could get two boats in operation sooner rather than later, especially if we're waiting on mutual aid.
All right, Station 3 paint. Counselor Comito is very upset about paint.
So we started the,
We don't have on the building.
Gutters,
they're
that's what it is.
due to be replaced this week. I received a call from Majestic, and I believe they're going to be replaced later this week. So the upper part of the station, all the woodwork has been replaced. We're obviously just waiting on the gutters and the downspouts. But I would like to get money for prepping and painting the lower part of the exterior so we could have, call this project totally complete on the exterior.
Okay. Oil tank, looks like we need a new one of those.
So that quote on painting that I was reading included the entire building, top and bottom?
No, the top has been painted.
But yeah, it has been painted, but I believe the quote stated the entire building, if I read it correctly.
I think Majestic's in the audience. Can you confirm?
I believe it says masonry siding and garage door exterior painting, so the masonry siding is the lower part. Right.
Okay. All right, keep it going, Chief.
All right, replace the Station 1 oil tank. I had our oil tanks checked at Station 3 and Station 1. Station 3's oil tank is a 2015, so it has a lot more life to it. When our technician came out and looked at Station 1's oil tank, they could not determine a date or an age of it. It's a steel tank, and steel tanks of that nature corrode or degrade from the inside out. And I'm concerned because we have well water down at Station 1. I don't want an environmental issue.
Okay. Mini splits, all stations. Seems pretty
So we would
straightforward.
have
Make
to
sure
go
the
out
guys are ready to go.
Do an RFP for that, but I recently spoke with the town administrator, and I think he has some thoughts on that. And I did get a couple of quotes a while ago, so that's where I derived this number from.
Counselor.
We don't have mini splits anywhere right now.
We have some, but they're not working right, and we use a lot of window air conditioners that constantly have to be replaced, so.
Why aren't they working right? So these will work right?
This would be brand new, so I'm assuming they would work right.
But the others aren't that old, I don't think. Craig, you can answer that. Craig, you ordered those.
Yes, I did order those, but we do have some that are older. I don't know if they've been maintained or cleaned. I know like Station 1 doesn't have one in their main area. I think the administrative offices up front, and I think would it be the chief's office, fire prevention and the secretary's office. They rely on window air conditioners. There was a brand-new one put in Station 2 in the back room. It works great. Right.
Not working?
It works great.
Okay.
What a bargain that was. And then there's a newer one in the bunk room also, I believe. I don't know if this is saying to replace that one too, I believe, I'm not sure. So I would look for more information on exactly what needs to be
Wait,
done.
Yeah, so the bunk room has one?
Yes.
Is that working?
So, yeah.
Okay.
But the bunk room one at Station 2 is definitely older. So the bunk room at Station 2 is older. The newest one that we have is the one in the day room of Station 2. That works no problems. Station 3's the bunk room and the living room area. Living room's using a window AC that blows up every few years. And then the bunk room one's older. We do have them maintained every year. We have a company come out, maintain them, clean them, but they're starting to recommend that they're coming to the end of life, so.
So are you asking for detail?
And then, like you said, the offices in the front of Station 2, everyone's on a window AC.
Yeah, I know. But
Actually,
it's
Chris's
not-
office
didn't make
doesn't even
sense to me.
have a
It
window
didn't
or
make
AC in
sense to
it.
me on
I'll remind the council too, that yes, we are hearing for all the requests from each individual department, but ultimately the requests that come in front of us will be screened by this gentleman to my left. Yeah, no, listen, I completely agree, and I think it's,
Yes or down, I'm just looking for information.
exactly.
Also helps us make the decision.
And I think
Yes.
it's, like we start, it's important that you hear from your department heads.
Yeah.
And then I'll have my recommendations for you before your next meeting, and then we can discuss again.
Yeah, because we can disagree with you also.
100%, 100%. You can
Well,
cut
not
deep.
that-
Not you,
No.
Counselor DiMederos,
No,
come on.
You can,
Well, no.
I will have my recommendations.
Sometimes you think you need something and we could argue for it.
100%,
We might have
which
to
is
agree
why, because so we're not, going back and forth with, well, let's ask the chief, or let's ask the director.
Yeah.
That this way you've heard from all of them, knowing that you're going to digest all this information.
Right.
I will give you backup about my recommendations, but also I know, and I've spoken, and I feel, and you can please correct me if I'm wrong on this, the council does not wish to spend $5.4 million.
I don't.
I don't either. I believe that we should hold some in reserve. So with that, there needs to be cuts, but I believe it to be fair, we should give every department and the schools the opportunity to make their case.
So my question is, I guess, are for you.
Yes, sir.
So I see all these requests in front of me, but I'm only seeing one quote. Like, shouldn't we have multiple quotes, or
Well,
will we have multiple quotes?
Well, if, depending, like the chief had mentioned for.
I know the state bid
um,
type stuff, but I
correct.
understand that, but.
Correct.
I still feel as though that some of these quotes are high, and I think local businesses will bring those prices down if we
Correct.
search them out.
I believe what you're doing, sir, is you're giving the departments a not-to-exceed number, knowing that I would work with them, we'd go out to bid, and then we could consider something lower. Unfortunately, sometimes, like with the walkway, it comes back higher. So, but what you're doing is giving us, or giving the departments and myself, kind of a number not to exceed. And knowing that if we can't meet that number, if we come under it, then great, then we can go out and it's gonna come back to you anyway, because when we go out to bid, you're gonna authorize that purchase based off the bid out of that money that you've already authorized through gaming.
Mr. President? And then, do you want the last
I-
item?
yes,
I
please.
just wanted to point out real quick, too, on those mini splits with that current offer that we have here, there is a 12-year parts and compressor warranty. So if we're worried about them breaking down anytime soon, at least we get 12 years out of them. So then the last item on our request is a new vehicle for the training captain. Obviously, that position was put in last November. It's been a huge asset to the department. I think our training's up probably 400% now. He's constantly busy, he's constantly doing something. So it was a recommendation that I put in for it, and the vehicle he drives right now is a 2014 Chevy Equinox. It was the fire department's, then it went to DPW, and then we repossessed it from DPW and made it the fire department's again, so. That vehicle also have an exhaust issue?
It did, but the mechanic at DPW,
Figured it out.
when it left the fire department, went back to DPW, they put some money and repaired. Then when we took it back, we had to pay DPW for
the stuff they did to it, so.
Wonderful. Any questions before we say thank you to the chiefs?
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Ms. Director. First, let me say thank you for letting us occupy your space. It's been some time. I'm hopeful we'll get back to our space.
And Catherine, also, I just want to say you did an unbelievable job on Saturday. The community really loved it, and thank you so much for all your effort.
Thank you. Oh, that's so nice. Thank you.
Your ask looks pretty straightforward to me.
Yes. If you would like me to describe in detail.
If you'd like to give any detail, by all means.
Absolutely. So the room we're sitting in now is the community room, and the audio-visual system is 10 years old. So we have progressively had more and more issues with the system. First, the sound went about 3 months ago. So you'll notice we're not using the speakers in here, and that is because they are not working fully. And then the projector started going in and out. So with the system being 10 years old, it's pretty typical that this will need to be replaced.
With all due respect, and since he's not here to defend himself, Counselor Burke, I believe, was the one who broke it at our last meeting.
I have several bills already. I'll send them to him.
He's not watching, by all means,
Just
continue.
kidding. So this is an anticipated cost. We actually do have a bid document out right now, so that we are able to, if awarded these funds, we can get the system fixed as soon as possible. Just
Okay.
about everybody using it, coming in uses it.
And then it looks like a new computer and another digital display.
Yes.
Okay. Any questions for the director?
No, your request, I don't know, anything we can't handle, I don't think.
Good? Oh, very easy, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I'm sorry to make you have waited this long.
That's okay. I'm happy to be here. It is my own place.
This is true. All right, looks like we're on the police department. Dun, dun, dun.
Good evening.
Evening.
Chief is on vacation this week, so you're stuck with me, sorry.
That's quite all right.
So, does everyone have our list in front of them?
We do,
Are we
yes.
Put together, okay. So first is from the Colonial Motor Group is the vehicles. The Malibu is a administrative car to replace the one that went with the chief when he took the job as town administrator. So
That was
we're
my
down-
follow-up question, so you've answered it perfectly.
That's where it went, so we're short administrative car right now. The two Ford Explorers, that would be the admin cars for the chief and I. Our two Malibus would go to the detective division. Detective division currently has a Dodge Durango, which I think is a 2012, with close to 200,000, and a 2018 Ford Explorer with about 150,000. So both those cars are at end of life right now for them. Then our two Ford Explorers are line cars.
You said that they would go to the detectives division?
Yeah, the two of their cars are, one's a 2012, one's a
So
20.
no use for four-wheel drive, or they can go into something if they need be in the winter unmarked, or?
We have the BCI vehicle.
So they did purchase a BCI vehicle, which is their crime scene vehicle, which is an Explorer four-wheel drive, so that could get them, especially for crime scenes, that would get them to any scene they would have to go to.
Okay.
The two Ford Explorers were our line cars. Currently, two of our line cars are 2018s with over 120,000 miles on them. So they're getting close to end of life. And they could go in turn replace two of our reserve cars, which have higher mileage than that for our details and things like that. Last item on that is the $74,300. That's for Island Tech to upfit the cars with lights, sirens, radios.
All the
so
cool
on.
stuff.
All the good stuff, correct. Second item is Ocean air conditioning unit. So the server room AC is gone. It's non-functional. We have to keep the door open or the heat alarm will go off in the summer, and we have a fan trying to pump the air out. as you know, the server is the lifeblood of the department with our computers. If that goes down, police and fire have big problems. So we would need to replace that. Second is for AC unit and condenser. So the current system we have, it can't keep up with the high temperatures. So the west side of the building, which is the furthest from the air conditioning units during the summer, we actually have air conditioning, window air conditioning units in now to keep it cool in there because it will not keep up during hot days, and we had quite a few hot days this summer. Everlasting design system, that would be to replace our regular desktop computers. Currently, our computers are at least 8 to 11 years old. They need to be upgraded. They're going to be out of CJIS compliance, CJIS security compliance shortly, so they're very close to end of life. Regal flooring, as you know, our station is old. This would, the chief and I discussed just some things that would help keep us in the station a little longer. Regal flooring would be to get rid of the old, not to cover over the older flooring, which is still in about half the building. That was the original 1976 flooring. Fifth item is for a total station. We've had a total station for several years. I was actually the total station person who ran the total station. This is basically for accident scene and crime scene investigations. It's, in short, surveying equipment that goes to computer software that helps us draw out the scenes. We've used it for multiple fatal accidents or accidents with serious bodily injury, and we've also used it at crime scenes. Unfortunately, that is, I want to say, Chief, 12, 15 years old, at least. So again, we can't update the software anymore. The company that actually made the software for that is on business anymore. Unfortunately, it's unusable at this point. So we haven't actually used it in 2 or 3 years.
Okay.
Six is kind of a small item, but it's kind of an important item. GMR Technologies, basically, this is a traffic management system. It's a simple box we can put on a pole, and it will measure cars that go by, speed, number of cars that go by. So it does traffic studies for us. Now, I talked to a resident today about stop signs in a certain neighborhood. And as part of our due diligence, we're doing a traffic study, but it really consists of me sending somebody out and going 1, 2, counting cars as they go by, kind of an old school way to do things. This really will help improve that. And traffic is one of our main complaints. So before I expend resources, somebody complains about speeding in the neighborhood, before I expend resources into that neighborhood, I can actually put this box out and I can really find out what the problem is, where the speeding is, what time of day, certain things like that, so I can better utilize our people.
I think we should get 2 of them.
Is that the same one that's on Warren Ave right now?
No, so you're talking about, that's a speed sign. So the problem with speed signs, some of them will do some traffic studies for us, but the problem is it's a speed sign, so people see it and it slows them down.
Every day they try to get the high score.
Yeah, or they do that. So it kind of affects their driving. So this is a discrete little box. It's about this big, it goes in the pool. Nobody can tell what it is. So it gets a truer picture of what's actually happening in the neighborhood. We really could use 2 or 3 of them. They're a great tool, and we spend a great deal of our time with traffic complaints. And rightfully so. It's a serious quality of life issue for most of our residents. The CSI RMS CAD system, the RMS is our records management system. CAD is our computer-aided dispatch system. This is really kind of the lifeblood of the police department. This is how everything runs through that system. Our CAD system runs both, obviously, police and fire, because we dispatch both police and fire. This is a statewide system. The entire state is going to this system. They did the first round about 6 months ago. We're in the second round. This is a huge improvement over the system we had. We had what was called IMC. That was over 30 years old. Councilor Paull is very familiar with IMC, I'm sure. It did its job. It was an old system. It was a server system, so it took up a lot of room on a server. This is a cloud system. It's a much more modern system. We actually have this going in at the moment. We're going live tomorrow. Problem is, the money isn't in the budget. We we thought it was. It was a little bit of an error on our part on that.
I have a question on that. Is this an annual?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So
The downside to the system, it almost doubles from IMC, but it does double the things.
I think the administrator knows where I'm going with this.
So if you recall, sir, we did not know, and this statewide RMS CAD project for police and fire, as the deputy chief said, the current system's been in existence for 30 years. So there was a lot of consternation in the state about who was going to fund it, when it was going to go. We didn't know when it was going to happen. And there was actually a different company that was going to do it, and they moved out, or they didn't take the job. So now the current company, as the deputy was saying, is going live. So now with that, and I remember when I made my last budget presentation as police chief, the current R&D fees that we pay, the use fees, are built into the software budget of the police department. What we currently pay is going to double with this new system. So we didn't want to put the money in there, not knowing when the system was going to go, because we were utilizing guesswork. But as fate would have it, they've done it. So now the chief and the deputy and the captain, they're short in that budget because they're going live tomorrow, and then the first payment's going to be due in January. So now the total yearly annual payment will have to be built into the operating budget of the police department.
And that was my following question. So this will be in future budgets because as an operational expense.
This is a one-time like a kickoff fee,
Okay.
and then going forward, it'll be a annual payment out of the operating budget of the police department.
This has been discussed for over 10 years. This is really a 10-year project the state's been talking about. And within the last year, it just really picked up speed. We were quite surprised it went in as quickly as it did.
My favorite thing is when.
We're glad it did, but.
I mean, my favorite thing is when the state just comes out of left field and gives us an unfunded mandate.
Yes, I agree. It would have been nice if they funded it, but it's something that had needed to be done. IMC was just antiquated and terrible.
Yeah.
So like I said, it's a cloud-based system. It has a lot of.
Makes sense. We're caught flat-footed here.
Yeah, it caught us a little flat-footed. Atlantic Tactical Gear, this is for our 4 officers that are members of the Newport County Regional SWAT Team, or SRT team, excuse me, which has been a huge asset to our department. We've deployed them multiple times. They've deployed other towns multiple times. To some, Captain Pelagi is actually on the team. They're highly trained. They go to a great deal of training. This is for body armor for them currently, and the captain can speak more to this, but they don't have the proper body armor. So we're sending them into some dangerous situations without the proper equipment. Captain, can you speak a little bit more about the armor?
So when we first started with the team about 2 years ago, really wasn't as big of a deal because we didn't become operational until about a year or so ago. So we weren't going through the door for some of these high-risk warrants, whereas we are doing that now. For instance, I do a lot of breaching work, so standing in front of the door and not having adequate armor is kind of an issue. The current plates that we've been employing, I believe, expired roughly 12 years ago. They're very heavy steel that are actually going to ricochet bullets instead of catch them. So we would very much like to have this upgrade.
Okay. Thank you.
And the last on our agenda is, again, with the station, it's just Matilda's painting. Again, the station, we're just trying to keep up with the station since we're going to be there for at least a few more years.
I did see, I think we skipped over the flock cameras.
We don't talk about
Yeah, no, we weren't talking about that today, Chief. We weren't gonna put that in this, but
Okay.
Again, that was something that would be an annual thing, and we decided not to put it into this.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Counselor Janik? Because it's an annual cost, so it would be recurring.
No, it's an annual service. No. No.
It's not adding to it. So that request from the chief was an expansion. The chief and I spoke offline. So after our conversation, the chief withdrew it.
Correct.
Counselor Janik?
A question about the computer replacements. We've just done a lot of replacements in town, correct?
In Town Hall, ma'am, yes.
Is this something we can add on to that, or are we too late for that?
So
Just to
the
get
one,
discounts or,
well, the ones, so these, the price that the police department get is the same price that the town gets. These are master price agreements through the state.
Okay.
And as the deputy chief said, I think when I became the chief, we replaced a bunch of computers over there. So it's been 8 or 9 years. And in computer lives, I don't think people own iPhones that long. And with what they do, remember that these workstations are going 24/7, 365. A different police.
yeah, I'm
and
not
I-
questioning that at all. But will that all integrate? Because I know our systems don't always talk to each other
So they can't talk to the police department.
because of the security.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay, and one other, I hope you put the body armor up high.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
As well, thank you.
We like the
We'd
captain.
like you to stick
We like
around,
the captain, we'd like to
Captain.
keep him around.
So,
Counselor.
with the computers, obviously part of the upgrade is because of the new software coming in from the state, I would assume,
That's part of it, sure.
right?
Yep.
And if, I mean, new technology, new software on older computers sometimes is a problem. But, so, the integration, is this going to affect the fire department being on their older computers with the new CAD talking back and forth?
So remember, as the deputy said, the beauty of this program is with IMC, as you know, sir.
Right.
It's a program that sits on the computer, that's always running in the background. With this one, it's like logging into Amazon, or like, it's web-based. So everything that sits in the cloud. So the other beauty of this too is all of our information is going to sit off-site in a secure area, kind of like what the police department does with body cameras. But from the fire department's perspective, what the fire department does is, as you know, they come into the server that sits at the police department. And I know the fire department is part of this training as well. They're going to have their own challenges for sure, because I did speak with the deputy chief. He does have some concerns about this too. And going forward, with the police department, I think, what are you doing, Dep? 25 to 30 workstations?
Yes.
And I know with the fire department, you're talking maybe half a dozen at tops.
Yeah, right. So I'm just going by the email that our computer people put out saying that it'd be a great time to upgrade the computers with the new software coming so they don't have issues. Again, communication between all town buildings has
Yes,
always
sir.
been an issue for many, many years.
Yes, sir.
And it's very difficult for the fire side to get into. I'm just hoping that.
So, Counselor, it shouldn't affect the fire side because they're not using it as, for their records management system.
Okay.
They have the first due, and the.
Security-wise and logging in, I know we log in, it's very difficult for us to log in.
You won't have to do that anymore, that's gone.
Okay.
Because this is a cloud-based system, so you're just gonna log into this just like any
Okay.
website.
Perfect.
Yeah, so that's, again, a big improvement with this new RMS system.
Right.
Is
Okay.
it'll actually make life a little easier. Now, some of the integrations, they're gonna take a little while, especially on the fire side. They'll get done, and they do it in other departments, but.
Right, so I mean, I know it's like with IMC, you had to buy a certain module to connect the fire department. I don't know if this software.
You're still gonna have to do some stuff like that.
Right, so I don't know if there's any funds that we've put in a request to, if we need to get those modules or whatever we need to add for the fire side to, I think, Deputy, yeah, sure.
We weren't supposed to, but.
Right.
Deputy
The
Chief.
deputy can talk a little more about that.
So I've been working with Deputy McGill on the integration. So what the fire department has right now will work, no problem, right? So we have all the iPads in the trucks. It's a cloud-based system, so it's a matter of just logging in. The problem that we're gonna see, and we're gonna have to probably come for money at some point, is the integrations of our systems. So we integrated IMC with First Due. Right now, CSI is taking care of that one. We integrated IMC with Image Trend, which is our EMS reporting software. CSI is not taking care of that one. That one, Image Trend gave us a bill the other day of $3,500 to try to integrate. So I literally had to put an email.
And that's a
out.
state mandated.
It's the system for dispatch is state mandated. For us, we're trying to make all our systems work together, CSI with our systems.
Right.
Is gonna cost us a little bit of money, and I don't know how we're gonna do it yet, but, it makes our job easier when they're integrated. If they're not, they're gonna be calling the dispatches like they used to 5 years ago, asking for I numbers and times, because without the $3,500 for Image Trend, we didn't know that money was coming. We didn't know that was coming.
We didn't expect that bill from Image
Right.
Trend, to be honest with you, and I don't think they should be charging us this.
Right, and
but-
tomorrow is the go live, and I fully expect conversation between CSI and everybody at that time, so.
And we're dealing with 3 different
we are
vendors to get these things worked, and we will, but it might take a little time.
Make sure, like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it is working, it's just, it's gonna be a bumpy road for us. I think.
Yeah.
next month, if we know before we make a decision, it'd be nice to have those
Yeah.
figures if we need them.
Yep.
That's my point.
I agree.
Yeah, thank you. Any further questions for the police department? I'm pointing at Counselor Janik, but she doesn't seem, oh. All right. Denise with her pen. Yeah. All right. Yeah, you were like over this way,
Oh,
so.
no, I was trying to find something.
Gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
All right, now comes Big Stewart. Always asking for money.
Good evening.
Thank you.
So in front of you, obviously, you have a list of the items that Recreation is requesting, and kind of run through those. There is one item that I realized was not included in your packet, and I apologize. I've actually emailed it to all of you with a BCC, which is a little bit of background on the Bulgamarsh lighting. We had a review done of the lights that were there, and while the information in your packet is correct based on our estimate, wanted to make sure that you had the additional information. So it's been sent to your town email accounts, as well as the administrator and the clerk. So should I just start at the beginning, kind of run through?
Yes, please.
All right. So the first item on the list is actually with the town farm renovation. I do just want to follow up on something that Councilor Paull had said before. The money that was allocated previously, projects it went to were the wheelchair swing, which was concluded. It also went to the skate park for fencing around it, which was required by the trust, as well as the fitness park. And then the last remaining portion of it, which is pretty much what you see in there, was for the feasibility study. So it was the one piece we didn't use at the time, which is pretty much what it washed out as. And at the time when we came before you, I think, or the previous council, we had indicated that we would be willing to do that gratis as part of it, sort of like we did it for Town Farm. So just as a heads up.
Okay, thank you.
The renovation, so Town Farm, the project obviously has been going on for a while, and we're at phase 3. I'm pleased to announce that the work on the project actually should be done tomorrow.
All
So
right.
if anybody has been over there, you'll see the fencing, you'll see the paint. We're very excited. There were a couple of places as we were going forward with it that we had some unexpected expenses, and it related to essentially just the joy of being in Tiverton. We ended up having to install a retaining wall, and then also had to move a telephone pole. The telephone pole for Department or Rhode Island Energy was $4,200 or $4,500 that we weren't anticipating, and putting in the retaining wall to make sure all the good work we did wouldn't slide into the middle of the walking track was, I think, an $11,000 charge in there. We were able to get the lights for less than we had originally expected under the funding that we'd received and what we had, but we have a little bit more to go in here. It's about $12,000. We're asking for $17,500 just to make sure if there's any final overage that we can account for it. So that's as far as Town Farms piece. Within the Recreation Commission, one other note on your packet, you have the last page in the recreation space looks like a scoreboard. That was something that we were planning on submitting earlier, and we've actually withdrawn it. We feel like we can find community support to get those, so please disregard that page. But running through the list, the Bulgamarsh softball field, we've been doing a fair amount of work on that. And one of the things, just with a report, a few quick numbers on it. The project cost would be about $53,000, and within that, there's about $9,000 worth of labor, but there's also $9,400 worth of rebates available. We are currently at Bulgamarsh using approximately 165,000 kilowatts across the 39 fixtures that we have. If we did this retrofit, which is what we'd be looking to do, we would only end up using 88,000. So significant decrease in the wattage that we end up using as we're switching to LEDs. Don't need to replace any of the posts. And that information is the one that I just sent you in the packet. The payback on this project, the financial summary we received says that the cost to do it would be a payback in 4.92 years. So just shy of 5 years, we would make our money back on the energy costs alone for doing it. The other really cool thing is if you were to go stand at second base right now and I was to turn those lights on, it's the equivalent of 5 candle lumens, which if it doesn't mean anything to you, don't worry, it didn't mean much to me either. If you replace the lights, that goes up to 25. So it's 5 times brighter out on the field than it currently is. So both from an event standpoint and a safety standpoint, it's a pretty big difference. Other items in here, town farm walking track, again, looking to just improve the brightness of the lights. We're doing it over at the pickleball and tennis courts. It'd be nice to tie it in. The Bulga Marsh softball field, we've added in new dugouts. One of the things we'd like to do is extend the fencing in front of those dugouts. We originally had looked at going all the way down to the first and third base line. Instead of doing solid fencing, one of the things that we as a commission discussed is we can look at other potential avenues for doing maybe soft fencing, but we'll explore those later. I think just going directly in front of the dugouts was where we felt it was important to go to. So probably the biggest or most high-profile piece on this list is the Pecasset playground updates. There have been a number of conversations between myself, the administrator, the DPW director, and also the school, the principal at Pecasset in particular. So some of the equipment there, there was an incident where unfortunately a child was injured. We had the trust come out and take a look at it, and while they indicated that there wasn't a major safety hazard, one of the things they also said is that the equipment is not to code. There were 3 particular pieces. And we also looked at what the fall height is because especially with swings, there is a fall height requirement. So the section of the playground they were looking at, the ground covering is sand. Pretty much every other playground that we take care of as Tiverton is engineered wood fiber, so essentially it's mulch. What we ended up looking at doing, and I appreciate the DPW acting quickly, is removed the pieces of equipment that we felt there was any questionable retention for, and then started looking at how could we address that. Spoke to Compan, which was the company that did the town farm playground, just to get a ballpark on the idea. So the number you're seeing in here as far as the replacement equipment is what they had recommended, just as a guide. I think, Councilor Committer, to your point, this is something where we would get a more firm estimate on it, but I think that's probably pretty close to where we would end up being. The other thing that we had actually spoken to the council before about in conjunction with the Pecasset PTO is adding in a basketball court. And so the original idea was to put it where the leaching field is, which we didn't realize at the time because of where we were in the discussions that really can't do that. So we looked at a secondary plan where it would actually be closer to the parking lot. The principal for Pecasset likes this idea, not only because it provides an additional opportunity for an activity, but it provides a blacktop surface for them. So that would be as you drive into Pecasset on the left-hand side, the fence would get shifted out. Not back at that particular spot. So it would keep it, the playground and the basketball court would all be in the same area right there. I think one of the things we're looking at is there's a lot of other options in that back area. If you look at purely the footprint, there's a large section of it that's grass that maybe could be converted into parking, as well as taking the upper section. And what we might find is it could be basketball courts, it could be a combination of a basketball court and a splash pad. I don't think, because you're not seeing a request for it at this point, doesn't mean that it's not a priority. It means that right at the moment, we want to make sure we take the time to address it appropriately and fill the needs of the community up there. This particular request is based on the fact that we had equipment that had to be removed, and now we have an absence. And the basketball court was a discussion that had come to us previously as a request from the Pecasset PTO. We looked at what the funding cost would be, and there's actually a slightly higher number.
So the equipment that was at Pecasset is school used all day?
Yep.
That's all funded by recreation?
That playground is under the recreation's purview. Yeah. There are weird structures like that. I'll give you Fort Barton as an example. The field in the back of Fort Barton is under recreation, but the grassy area and everything else is under the school. It predates me. I don't.
So we would be funding the schools?
Well,
I know it's for the whole thing, but we would be funding.
Sure. I do want to offer that the PTO also volunteered to contribute to it.
So we would be funding the school's playground? Or putting a new playground in for the school basically to use?
I would say we would be funding a playground that is utilized by school children
In
as
the
well
town.
as other members.
I get it, but the bottom line is, it's used daily by the school, and we would be putting the playground in basically for the school to use during their recess time and everything else.
I believe Mr. Andrade would like to weigh in.
Correct, yeah, it's used by the schools. Correct,
Well,
it's
it's-
used by the schools from 8:30 to 3:30, and I can say, being a parent and resident, it's used heavily by the community after
After school,
3:30, yeah.
It's a very heavily used.
It's definitely a combination.
And again, it is or it is not.
It's used by the school between the hours of 8:30 to 3:30, and then it's technically the town's
And it's used heavily.
heavily after those hours.
Okay, I thought you said not used
No,
heavily.
I pick up my daughter sometimes, and we go to the park. There's other kids, 8th graders, high school kids, riding their bikes to go to the park.
My kids used to use it
Yep,
when they were little,
yep.
too.
Counselor DiMederos.
No matter how you look at it, it's coming from the casino fund. So it's for the town. You know what I mean? Even if we give it, yes, we are replacing it, but it's coming from the same fund.
Meanwhile, we have kids at the middle school who don't have a playground.
Well, that's something we.
I'm just saying.
But the school would have to address whether or not they wanted to.
So I think the broader question here is one that we really can't discuss at the moment, but there obviously is a policy issue or ownership or management of properties that are deemed to be on or adjacent to the schools that somehow, some way, 55 years ago, long before any of us were involved, became the domain of recreation. And that I don't disagree with you or Mr. Andrade. I intentionally said his name incorrectly just to mess with him. I don't disagree with the need. I think that there needs to be a discussion from this body at some point about who's responsible for and what.
I don't disagree with the need for that conversation. I can only offer two things, is that recreation only has oversight of what recreation has oversight of. I can also say that on our list is the Bayview playground. And the Bayview playground, to be able to do what we're looking to do, there's a lot of questions in there based on it. If this was at any other location and not adjacent to the school, I don't know that the questions would potentially be the same, but what I can tell you is that that playground gets a lot of use from the community. It's the same place that we hold the summer camp. Every kid that goes to Little League, that practices down there, or baseball, goes to that playground. Adding in equipment, recreational equipment on that side of our community is important to recreation, and I know it's important to you as well. And this is something where we see it as a replacement for dated equipment, as well as an opportunity to provide an upgrade in some. So I don't disagree with your concerns on it. I can only address why we feel it's important to add this.
Counselor Janik.
As you're on the North Tiverton Revitalization Committee with me, those are the two playgrounds, or not so much the playground at Pecasset, but probably the back part of Pecasset more, and the Bayview Fields that we have talked about and actually drawn up some sketches. So I don't know if when you came in with these quotes, if you had that in mind, because we did have some kind of plans. Off-street parking, we did get a letter from a resident who talked about off-street parking, which was all part of the report that we had done. Areas for play, areas for parking, because we know that it's very heavily used.
Yeah. So just on that particular report, knowing that it was still being reviewed, I can say with a fair amount of certainty that the quotes that we received for Pecasset are pretty close to what the actual number would be, if not maybe a little bit less. The area down by Bayview, some of the unknowns on it really come back to the remediation element of it. So the cost in here, the project could be done for that.
Or it could be 4X.
Would it match what's in the North Tiverton end? I don't know, but I would also state that I think, that there needs to be more recreational activity in that side of town, and what was designed by the North Tiverton Committee reflects not only for kids, there was also a basketball court in that space. So what we're kind of looking at here is there are similar elements that we know we can account for if we put them where Pecasset is. That is not to exclude the need to do something potentially down at Bayview, and we've put some funds on here as well. We think both are important, and frankly, town doesn't have a lot of space that we can use for this kind of stuff. So we want to make sure we maximize what we have.
I would like to know about these wells that you're about
Me
to get
too.
to.
So there were a couple of things with the wells. Let me just pull up. During the summer, both wells ran dry. As of Friday, there was an email exchange from the DPW director stating that after 2 days of rain, accumulating to about 4 inches, the well was actually lower than the last time when it had been reviewed a month prior at Fogland. There is a grant that I know the DPW director is actively pursuing with the DEM that we feel may at least educate us as to what's transpiring with the wells. I will tell you, this came up at least with some of the stuff a little bit later on. We've been trying to determine if it was when the rain started coming back in, frankly, whether it was going to refill itself or not, and we're not quite sure what the cause is and why there isn't a alarm that's gone off. But we do feel like there's something going on, especially at Fogland.
So the ask, if I may.
Yes.
Is the ask to drill a new well? Is the ask to do some investigation?
That was
Yes.
my question, because how do we know the well's dry versus the pump's not dead? I find it hard to believe that a pump down in Fogland that's surrounded by trillions of gallons of water is somehow dry. And I understand that it's not salt water in the well, but it's groundwater is groundwater. It's
Sure. So it's one of those things that we're investigating, frankly. I think we're at that particular point.
So we don't know for sure that the well is dry.
no, the maintenance person said it's dry.
The report back that we've received is that there was not water available at Fogland, which led to the bathrooms not working.
Because there's a large difference between the well is dry and the pumps aren't working. And I think, again, with the water issues that we have in Tiverton, I think we need to do our due diligence and make sure that it's not a pump and make sure, or have somebody test it. I don't even know how we test the well to see if it's wet, but to find out. And we don't use the terminology that the well is dry until.
We hang you upside down, Counselor Comito, and draw a long
I
rope.
mean, I don't mind. I'll bring up all the water, trust me.
Mr. President, if I may.
Yes, Mr. Administrator.
So I did speak with the DPW director and obviously the recreation director to talk about this issue. And I told them to go under the assumption when they are putting this funding request in front of you, that the well is dry. Because I do not want to, as none of us do, be dealing with this issue on Memorial Day weekend next season. That is not to say that we will spend $30,000. That is not to say that we're not going to do our due diligence and research this issue. But knowing that we spend casino gaming money once a year, annually, I wanted to put this in front of you for consideration, knowing that I hope that the well is not dry. I hope that we can get somebody down there and we can fix it for $500 or whatever that might be, and that's a win. But what I did not want to do is wait until the season starts and then we have no water at Fogland. That's more of a problem.
Makes total sense to me.
Which I totally understand, but it seems like when we really need something or really want something, we put a scare tactic in, oh my God, the world's falling again, we got to get this done, right? So I really think that we need to go down and look at it before we assume anything and make sure, whatever.
Not scared at all.
No, so and I will apologize if it came across in that way. My comment was really, and I misspoke with it, it's more to the point of the bathrooms were not working at Fogland as a result of there not being
It's
water.
nothing personal with you, Stu.
No, I get you.
It's just the way the water works in Tiverton, and everybody, I mean, we had a major fire in North Tiverton last week, and the rumors were that we ran out of water, right? And it wasn't even close to being true, because we tagged a hydrant in Fall River, which had the problem. Correct, Deputy?
We took their water.
So I just want to clarify that and make sure that we relax and we do what we got to do to make sure we get the water running before the season.
And we haven't encountered this issue before, just to be very clear, and we haven't had sensors going off. So it's something that I think as we do the investigation, we'll determine what it is and inform everybody.
Right. And again, like with anything with this, we're not just going to ready, shoot, aim it. That this is something that if we have the funding, we're going to do our due diligence, we're going to do the research. It's going to be back in front of you with an update before we spend any money.
Okay.
Because but we want to be able, knowing that these gaming meetings and these gaming resolutions come once a year, so we could beat the season and not be, I would be afraid if we didn't talk about it and then we waited till May and then we're scrambling around because Fogland Beach Bathhouse doesn't have any water, which is why it's in front of you today.
I think that's a wet area. I'm not talking the salt water, I'm talking just like when it rains.
I don't know. I mean, Fogland is one issue, but we have Town Farm down here. Town Farm's been I think I was a baby just starting to walk, and we had well issues down at Town Farm. So, I mean, is it a well? Is it contaminated well? Is it from the dump? Like, there's just so much to this.
Well, and again, couldn't agree with you more, Counselor. I mean, and I know I've spoken to all of you individually. I don't like playing with boomerangs. I want to fix the problem and be done with it and not have it hit me back in the face. So if we're going to do this one well problem down at Fogland, hell, why don't we fix all the well problems at our recreation areas? Yes, sir.
At the risk of belaboring the wells, what's the sprinkler head water pump?
The water pump it was old. It's, I think, like 15 years old. It had been installed by the Tiverton Men's Softball League a number of years ago, and it just burned out. The sprinkler heads as well, they just need to be replaced. So that's more of a maintenance issue than anything else.
Okay.
And so, again, just par for the course. Bulgamarsh.
Canopy fence.
Yep. So anybody who's ever had to dodge a ball flying over into Main Road as they've gone past Town Farm, one of the things we're trying to do is put something up that will help just on the top part keep foul balls from coming in. The fence was actually extended a little bit higher thanks to Little League, and they actually also installed bleachers over there. But it's another attempt to try to make it a better recreational area. Correct. Yep. That's Daniels Field.
And then obviously Bayview Field we've touched on already.
Correct.
Yep. Any further questions for the rec director?
I do, Mr. You want to go?
Councilor Paul
No,
or
I just,
Perry, whoever wants to go first.
Stu, the Cassett playground upgrade, and I'm sure it's somewhere in here. Can you just verbalize what's entailed in that 135?
Sure.
So you had said the basketball court?
Yep, so there's 50 grand that would be assigned towards the replacement of the swing bay, the climbing dome, the rock wall, and the sand that were taken out, all of which were the ones that were deemed non-compliant by the trust. And there had been $10,000 that the Picasa PTO has kindly agreed to contribute towards that project. The basketball court, there's a bid in there in your packet for $65,000, but the council had actually committed $10,000 before to the project. We were looking at actually, again, based on where the placement was, so it's asking for $55,000 of a $65,000 project. May come in lower than that, but that was the quote we got from the company that did the Town Farm courts, just so you have a reference point. And then the $30,000, one of the things that we heard when we spoke with the principal at Picasset and also in looking at the scope of the project is making sure that there's a safety boundary is important for that. In addition, in order to accommodate the basketball court, we would have to move out the fencing a little bit further and create a section to the right where snow could be pushed out. So we also met with the maintenance crew from the school to get their feedback on that as well.
So 50K, that's for a new swing set?
The climbing dome, the rock wall, and the surfacing.
So we can get a new climbing dome?
The climbing, so the items that they're looking at are sitting somewhere around, depending on which ones you do, like 15 to 20, give or take.
But I'm just confused because we pulled the climbing dome out.
Different type of, that's what got taken out, a climbing like apparatus. So those domes that I think everybody probably remembers, they don't make them exactly the same anymore.
Okay.
They make ones that have like rope on them and.
My only comment on this one here, and this goes back to when my kids were at Picasset, and I was on the PTO, the principal at the time had asked for a simple 12 by 12 paved area with the basketball hoop, just as an extra for the kids for recess, gym, whatnot. And that has morphed into a $65,000 full court, with us having no plan yet for lower Picasset. Nothing you and I haven't discussed before, but I'm hesitant on the full basketball court upper, only because we don't know what we're doing yet on the lower. But, and the other one too, of course, and you'll speak in a moment on Bayview. I understand there's a grand vision for Bayview, but I think the neighbors would agree that even if we could do something over there, because they actually have a climbing dome as well. Where's the director? When's that coming? They have a climbing dome as well, which the equipment that's there is not safe. But some of the all-inclusive structures now on sale are 12, 13, 14,000. And I understand we have the digging issue, but I mean, even if for now we can add a couple new smaller structures and do that one in stages. I'm not opposed to the grand plan, but I think it needs love now. That park's been neglected for far too long as well, so.
Was the equipment removed from Bayview also?
Not yet.
And just so I can correct the record too, the trust did not deem the equipment unsafe.
I was
The
going to ask,
equipment
because a
deemed-
Facebook post said everything's unsafe. and-
Outdated.
And I got all my information from Facebook, which I'm not happy about, but.
Right. Well, I
for
could go
long,
1,000
Counselor.
places with that.
But in other words, because people were upset, saying all this stuff was removed. I'm like, well, who made the decision to remove it all? And now they have nothing, right? And North Tiverton needs something.
Yes, sir.
So I don't know how it all came about, but, so yes, if you could squash all the rumors and.
So again, what I can say is that there was an incident that took place at the playground on Pecasset. And the trust was called. The trust did an assessment of that playground and made recommendations. And part of the recommendations were that certain pieces of equipment there were outside of its life. Correct. Knowing that we were coming here tonight, knowing that the recreation director was going to put forth a proposal to upgrade that park, DPW, under my direction, removed those pieces of equipment with the understanding that we were going to make a presentation to the council to upgrade that equipment. But at no point was that unsafe. So I want to make that clear, that it wasn't unsafe. It was deemed old, out of, end of life, whatever labels we want to put on it. We did the due diligence because someone was already injured on it, knowing that we were to replace it, to avoid potentially another incident. Let's just remove it, knowing that we're looking to upgrade it.
And Mr. Administrator, when your insurance company tells you that it's recommended that it's outdated, you listen, right?
We took I think we took the appropriate action. Yes, ma'am.
So that's Pecasset.
Same equipment at Bayview?
That was my question.
Yes. So we're going to have the trust go down there and take a look at that equipment as well.
As I just learned though too, that one may be newer, one may be older, because if there's newer equipment that's similar, that they approve, that's a different ballgame.
Right.
It is similar, but that's up to the trust.
Right.
Yeah. Different stage in its life,
Yeah.
actually.
But again, to wrap that up, I mean, I understand the Pecasset project, and that is a heavily used playground at all hours and weekends. But Bayview, again, to me, it's been neglected far too long. It's a neighborhood playground. It's not a destination playground. I think for small change, we can make a big difference now, looking at the bigger picture with a year 2 and a year 3 on that one as well, but.
Yeah. I would also say, I mean, to your point about why that portion of Pecasset versus the other part of Pecasset, I think it does come back to the proximity for schools as part of it and the use case in general. And yeah. No. And we have looked. There have been a number of renderings done on what could be done down there. Yeah, and for example, when we did Town Farm, the number one item that people wanted to see that we couldn't accommodate at Town Farm for a number of reasons was a splash pad. And we've looked at, and it's feasible there, but I will tell you the cost relative to what we're doing is significantly higher. And recognizing the total number of requests that you're getting put forward, we also wanted to make sure that we were putting forward things that we felt were at a priority level. It's not to say that we're not going to continue to work on that and look at other ways, but this was where we felt like the priority was.
Okay, any other questions for Director Guilfoyle?
I have one.
Counselor?
Stu, this past Saturday, I happened to attend a soccer game at Town Farm, that field down below. Is there any way we could put a fence behind the goalie? That poor girl was in the woods more than she was on the field. And sometimes when she went in the woods, you couldn't even see her.
I'd have to connect with Tiverton Youth Soccer to learn a little bit more about what they're looking for. I mean, I think
It's our field, though, right?
It is our field, and to quote the administrator, anything's possible.
I mean, maybe just a snow fence, the red.
We do actually have a snow fence that we had utilized for summer camp at Pecasset, so I can take a look and see if, size-wise, it could be over there
Both
further.
goalies were, and I guess there's a drop-off once you go in there.
I assume so, yeah.
Yeah, they disappeared.
It's been like that forever.
Take a look at it.
If I could piggyback a comment on that, being so heavily involved in recreation and wearing 1,700 other hats, soccer's been approached about moving back to Pecasset School. The gentleman that was approached had no idea that they even had a home over there before. So there's, Pecasset, there's tons of room over there, but that's something that I know that the director, you don't like that term, sorry. The chair has been talking to soccer about.
Yeah.
But the other thing too is that sidearm, we don't have it to cut all that.
Not-
They used to,
Yeah,
regularly.
not to waylay this part of the conversation, because I know you have other things. I think the space of Pecasset, there are other things we could look at with what to do with it. I think supporting some of what the DPW is looking for would assist in that, and then also looking at it from ensuring that the field is completely flat would be another piece to it. So not out of the realm of possibility, but what I can commit to is I'll take a look at the fencing.
Yeah, I mean, I felt so bad for the two goalies.
Is this where I say it builds character?
Did you go to the balls for him?
I didn't, no.
We will take a look and see what we can do to address it, because I sympathize.
Thank
So
you.
I'll talk to youth soccer about it.
All right. Thank you. All right, Mr. Administrator, I know you have a couple items. Wiring for Town Hall, that was one that we have already approved via the resolution. Same goes with the Town Hall walkway, so there's no need to belabor those.
So I know we approved the wiring, but
Yes, sir.
there were some questions about, people actually think it's wiring, it's more networking
That's
for
correct.
the computer systems.
That's correct. Correct.
All right, so we'll start with the ARPA.
So I'll ask the treasurer to come up and explain.
Did we come up short?
Yes. And I'm going to tell you how. So, I'm going to bring you back to November of 2024. Why does this sound so loud?
Because the speakers are pointed directly at you.
Okay, so, and kind of Councilor DiMederos mentioned the whole grant and funding thing earlier. So, when we received the funds for the AFG grant, the Assistance to Firefighter grant, it was put back into ARPA. And it was included in the calculation that we provided you in November to allocate the rest of the funds when we realized we didn't need to use it for the landfill. So when I was doing all my balancing, I was like, something's not right. I'm coming up short. And watched a plethora of meetings, 6 ways to Sunday to figure out where it went wrong. And when the council allocated the ARPA funds for the fire, police, radio, the 1.3 million, that was a net number, where normally we allocate the gross number, and then the grant comes back, and we put it back into the kitty. That's where it went wrong. So, at this point, depending on how the project goes, we could potentially be short 185. But if there's any overages to the project, we would be short the 339.
Okay.
Sorry.
So what is left in the project?
Right now, we have 453,000. I've got an outstanding bill for 303. So, watching the meeting again, Mike had bumped it up for cost overruns. So that's the only reason why we have a cushion. I was thinking that was, when we had the quote, that was going to be enough to cover the whole project, but
Okay, so figure, hopefully the number comes
so
down
I
lower.
think it's going to be a not-to-exceed number, and we're hopeful that we might be able to put it back in.
We'll have more of an understanding of what this looks like in a couple weeks.
Yeah,
Okay,
so that's the story.
is what it is.
So where does the project stand, and what do we need to finish?
Well, that's your next item upstairs, sir. So, good segue, thank you, I appreciate the setup. The last portion of the project now is the upgrade to the dispatch center. So the physical upgrades. So we've purchased all the equipment, or at least the treasurer, as she just stated. We have the bill for the consoles that would go into
Right.
the dispatch center located at the police department. The issue that we've had is we've been trying to find a contractor for years to take the job on. We've sent it out to RFP. We extended the RFP, we got no takers. So what we did was, we partnered with Cybercom, and we're using them to subcontract out the job. So they have come back, and I put that number of $400,000. I was able to get a hard quote from them today that's going to knock $100,000 off that number. So right off the bat, it's going to knock down to $300,000. With that being said, we have a DOJ grant for $500,000. The issue was, the money is there, but it was de-obligated because we never used it. So I'm working with the government so they can re-obligate the money. And then we can utilize that, whatever, if you decide to fund the project, so we can finish the project. We have $1.5 million worth of radio equipment on top of portables and everything that's standing by to be installed in the dispatch center. So with that, we want to move forward. We have the chief is ready to move forward with the project. So this would allow the chief to move forward immediately. Then with whatever is, if I get the grant from DOJ, which I am fairly confident we will be able to get it, it will not only cover the dispatch project, but potentially cover any shortages in the account as just mentioned by the treasurer.
So where did I see the $12,000 for the generator at the tower?
Correct.
That is separate.
That is part of actually that $300,000 mark,
Right.
which would get taken off that as well.
But we have that somewhere else.
Yes, you do. You've already funded it. So you've already obligated that money for that tower generator. That's correct.
That's in the previously allocated but unspent.
Okay, so that is still there to get done to
Yes, sir.
complete the radio project.
We've been waiting on all of these.
So we don't have to plug an extension cord into the DBW
Correct.
to keep our radios
Correct.
running.
Or if the power goes out, the radios go out at the police department. Correct.
Okay, so, and this 400 will finish the project off?
Correct. 300,000.
The
And I'll-
300,000.
And I'll amend that now.
We're at 4.262.
So, and that is to rebuild the dispatch center, not just the equipment?
And the furniture.
Walls, furniture,
that
the
is
whole
correct.
9 yards?
That is correct. It is to make the dispatch center a dispatch center.
I mean, it's needed, but it's unfortunate that hopefully in the future, we have a brand-new complex, and
From your lips, sir.
I know, it's just,
Counselor Janik.
it's a tough spend.
And we hope we do have a new place, but can that move?
The radio equipment, yes.
Yes.
The furniture, yes. So everything comes. That is correct.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Administrator, you want to continue?
And then the last two items, obviously, as part of the ongoing renovations to our town hall furniture. So we have replaced the furniture in pretty much every office with the exception of the tax collector and the treasurer's office. So this also, there's a couple small items to finish off the clerk's office, so that number would cover that. And then the $75,000, as most of you know, and if you don't, which I'm sure you do, we have found asbestos in town hall underneath the carpet in the council chambers. We had to call in a specialist to do the testing to confirm that, which we've done. They've located asbestos in the building office, in the current planning office, and in the town hall chambers. So we have sent the plan to the state through DEM because the abatement plan needs to be approved. Once it's approved, we have to go into RFP to abate that area. So it's a little bit of guesswork because we need to put it out to RFP.
So all the asbestos gets tracked to a T, I would assume, where it's going, where it's gonna end up? During the
That's not
abatement
my
program,
wheelhouse, sir, but
right?
I'm assuming that's what we're gonna pay for.
The Department of Health has to be notified, right?
That is correct.
So we don't
They
just
have
throw
to-
it in a dumpster?
They have to approve the plan, sir, yes.
That's what I thought, thank you.
Wonderful.
That's all I have, sir.
Okay.
Mr. President, before we move to the school department, I just wanted to add a few things here that I think if any council members have anything that they want to see. For example, there were notes that I had made. I know I've brought this up before about storage units for public works, so that way rec, cemetery, historical cemetery, open space, and the litter committee have a place to store their equipment, which from what I understand right now is spread among several garages, private garages. I've spoken to a couple of these chairs about it, and they're all for it. If there's a place that can centrally put their location. their equipment. I also know that the litter committee came in front of us last year asking for, and I believe even historical cemeteries, looking for essentially bulk equipment for the litter committee, and historical cemeteries was looking for chemicals and some other
I
equipment.
think with their budget increase, they're very happy with what they have and
Okay.
are doing a tremendous job. Yes.
I mean-
But to your point on those storage containers, at the corner of Main Road in Anaquacket, we have a beautiful facility that has not been maintained. I spoke with the administrator this week. I'm trying to get the power turned back on there. The fire department has an excellent training prop inside there. So we're gonna try to get some lights back on there, but that would be a great community building, centrally located in town that everybody could store their stuff in.
You hit the nail on the head. That was on my list as well, but I understand there's a structural issue there as well. So it's going to need a little bit of money, but I think we should definitely look at it.
So if I may, Mr. President, and to the members of the council, and I'm assuming that if the council members have any individual projects that they want to add to the discussion, I'd make myself available, and you could send me an email. I can add them to your list. So this way, when I send out my recommendations, I can add your individual wants, requests to the overall list. I'm going to follow up based on the testimony that you heard tonight from all your respective department heads. And then I'm going to have my recommendations so you can see all of this prior to your next meeting. But if you want me to do that, I'll absolutely make that happen.
Counselor DiMedios.
Just came to mind, Boogamarsh restrooms need a little bit of upgrading. I'm not saying tear it down and put a new one, but I don't know if anyone's been inside there. It's just,
Well, I mean, ma'am, something like that, if
we're
you...
there, and we have concerts, we have over 200 people there every weekend. I really think that we need some kind of upgrade there.
And counsel, if you send me that via email, and what I will do is I'll sit down with the recreation chair, and because what I want to do is keep it in the respective buckets. If you want to add something to DPW, to the police department, the fire department, like Councilor Camino brought up, maybe like technology or replacement computers. If there are certain issues that you want to see based on what you heard tonight, I would ask that you send it to me. I'll put it in your overall list, distribute it to all of you, along with my recommendations. So before your next meeting, you have all this information.
Counselor Janik.
And I just want to remind all of my fellow council members that we are one town. This casino money is for not just municipal versus schools, it's for all of our towns. So we've heard part of the presentation. We still have items that the schools need, and they have requests. So I just want to make sure that it's not an us and them, it's all of us together.
Okay. Are we all set with the municipal side?
The only thing I had left, which I was going to piggyback on this one here, I completely agree on that end. We don't need votes to go out for RFP anymore, correct? So I mean, I don't think we're going to get them that quick, but if we could look at two or three options, or two options on Boogamarsh bathrooms, I think that would help. And it may not even fall in round one or two of this, but.
Well, like many of the items that you discussed tonight, we can make a line item of not to exceed, knowing that if we go out to RFP, it's going to come back to you anyway, and then we can make a determination of, there is some guesswork involved and stuff like that, and we can get as accurate as we can. Go out to RFP. If it falls under, you're going to approve it. If it falls over, then you can authorize, when you issue the bid, to take the money from either a gaming or another revenue source, depending on what your policy is.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you. So now we can move on to the school department, who I know did send a very detailed and thorough write-up. Thank you both. Superintendent and Finance Director, I have one question before we start, because I know that the way reimbursements operate are a little bit different. So if possible, if there are any of these items that are eligible for reimbursement, please do me a favor and note that, because I'm assuming that a lot of this is not on the 5-year capital plan.
They are not, but, is it on? I think it's on, yeah, all right. Good evening, they are not. However, you can reallocate your 5-year plan. I confirmed that today with William Tremble, the School Building Authority Finance Officer, and I was gonna start with that this evening because there is some new counselors. So When the schools did the 5-year plan back on 12/19/23 was the approval. It started with an end date of 12/31/28. All schools district-wide 5-year plan was a little short of 12 million. You only have to spend 50% of that, so a little short of 6 million. We've spent almost 3.1, leaving 2.9 million left to spend by 12/31/28. Just to keep that in the back of your hats. To John's point, all these, we can, again, make a case of why these need to be reconsidered in the 5-year plan, and he told me all of these have a good case, so.
What
with
does that process look like?
I serve as an architect, and I go online and do a ride design portal, and then they approve it.
Got it. So we hope they're feeling good in the day they go along in.
Yeah, exactly. So I spoke to Mr. Administrator about this as well. We haven't had a problem since I've been on board. So a lot of the projects last year, like the chimney was on, but I forget which ones weren't, but say the door levers, they included it. So pretty good with that. So with that said, I'll get right into it, and then we'll answer any questions you guys may have, or stop me as I go one by one, whatever you prefer. So the first one's pretty self-explanatory. You guys have heard a lot about the gymnasium court, the Tiverton High School that serves as a basketball, volleyball, and obviously the PE court. This has been refinished for the last 20-plus years. We're hoping to refresh the court back to the original wood and then do a refreshing cycle from that. That request came in at $30,500. I did provide 2 options in your backup, a water base and oil base. Administration, along with the school and building committee, recommended the water base. You can see in your packet the better view, the pictures of the recent projects, the better views with the water base, and they recommend the water base as well. It was about a little less than $2,000 difference. Next is flush valves.
Quick question for you
Yep.
on that. Somewhat tongue-in-cheek, but in light of the recent termination of the varsity football team, are we going to have teams that actually utilize these courts if we do refresh them?
Yeah, so this is the basketball court, and we've had.
I understand.
Yeah. So we had, last year, we did have a full JV and varsity team. We expect the same.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Flush valves, district-wide, $6,275. This is to replace all the aging and failing flush valves. This actually came to light shortly after the locker room project, and they realized there's a lot of a lot of restrooms that are being shut down because of the failing flush valves. So we're looking to do this district-wide.
Then why didn't they do it? So, the bathrooms that we've renovated, do they have flush valves?
Some of them do, some of them don't.
Why didn't they do it?
So according to the plumber, yeah, because I thought the same thing. So when they did the locker room project, we brought that plumber in-house, we had a backup. We brought that plumber in-house, I said, what's the deal? He says it's bad because the way the plumbing code is right now, there's not too much of a pitch, and I'm hoping if I'm remembering this terminology correctly, but there was something with the pitch. Yeah, there was something with the pitch, and he did it properly to code, even though they don't agree with the code, so.
So, out of curiosity, again, you may not have these answers because the former superintendent was the one who put this on, and this is back to when I was on the budget committee.
Yeah.
I do remember there was something like a $5 million down the line ask for all of the internal plumbing in all the school buildings. And I think it gets to the question that Councilor DiMedeiros asked, is that rather than Band-Aid some stuff, I'd like to know if the underlying components are actually good.
Yeah,
Because if we could fix what's behind the walls,
Yeah.
I think we should do that first rather than, put lipstick on a pig, so to speak.
Yeah, agreed. This was the recommendation to do by the same plumber that we utilized during the locker room project along with the architect. Because right away, I see a backup, I'm thinking they're held liable. We just did that project. And then they provided a good write-up of why they're not, but this is to fix that restroom along with the many others. It's just a flush valve. This is like 40 flush valves. It's not just one flush
That
valve.
was my question.
Yeah, this is district-wide.
Who's responsible to oversee this?
The building committee.
So this one's tough. It's not really something that you can do preventive maintenance on or check.
My notes say
Yeah.
regular maintenance.
Yeah. So this would prevent water waste and emergency repairs, so like a backup. And that's what I'm referring to. I can very well send you that report that we received from the architect for the locker room project, because it's going back quite a few months. I've had this on my list probably since May, but yeah.
Brandon, before you flip the page real quick to the basketball court, I'm sorry, gymnasium.
Yeah.
What does it cost for the annual, whatever it is that they do?
The refinish, about-
Where they roughly sand it, mop it,
Yeah.
sweep it, vacuum it, and do all the other things on the same day
Yeah, it's about $6,000.
per court?
Yeah. They do it every, the Thanksgiving week every year.
Yeah, and they miss the closest to the walls and the door jams. And
Yeah.
they poly over sand. I'm just wondering, because that's, you,
So,
go take a look, or I'll go with you. Something's got to change there.
the quote you received was not from that company.
Thank you.
Still gonna go out to bid.
Makes me feel better.
30,000 is a complete restrip,
Yes, this is getting back to bare wood.
new graphics, or?
Yeah, so good point, thank you, Counselor. So the quote in this is $30,500, as I explained to the school and building committee. Most likely our art team, our art class will do the graphics. So that price should go down a little bit. As I told the school and building committee, I don't like to ask for the lower price until the project's complete. So if we do save some money, you're gonna get it back, but that's where we stand right now. It also depends when we do the project too, because obviously if we can only do it in the summer, class is not there, so I don't know if we'll get the students we need to complete that project with the teacher, so, yeah. Flipping the page to the backside, next is the exhaust fan. This is to replace a 60-plus-year-old cafeteria exhaust fan that is no longer repairable in Tiverton High School. The State of Rhode Island Health Inspector comes out every year to provide an inspection report of our cafeterias, and this was noted in that. So this was $26,000. The reason it's not to exceed, because Arden had won the bid, which you guys can see in your packet. They won the bid to do the project, but we do have to pay our roof company for the penetration of the exhaust fan. Our roof's under warranty, so we could only utilize that company. I have not received their bill yet, but this $26,000 is kind of a high number, so I'm sure we won't exceed it. Exhaust fan in the kitchen.
Under the hood?
Yep, going up, yep.
Do they cook, they still cook at the high school?
They do very little cooking at the high school, but they utilize it, yeah.
Grease and they cook in, there's a difference of having a hood or?
Yeah. I don't know if the quote gives you more information, Craig? No, they don't do that. However, let me just find the quote. So if you go in your packet, there's a Arden Engineering Construction bid, quote. It's exhaust fan to vent, I think that's supposed to say vent the existing dishwasher located at the high school. So this is a direct drive through the roof exhaust fan. So they had to cut into the roof over the existing ductwork going to the dishwasher below. So I apologize for the dishwasher, not the... And I still accurate comment of high school does very little cooking, it's all done at the middle school, so. Yeah, yep, and that was cited in the health inspection report in June.
The one that's there now, operation,
It can't be repaired, it's over 6 years old, yeah. The original to the building, yep. Exactly. So, next line item is HVAC. As you guys know, you graciously granted us $100,000 kind of blanket capital request to do all district-wide heating. We pretty much, as you can see in your packet as well, we pretty much did a bunch of those items. If you look at this sheet in your packet, We did a bunch of those items, and the last remaining item was the HVAC of the high school. It was very difficult trying to get a not-to-exceed number or a final invoice because, as I said before, the reason the high school needed to be done is because the last vendor who did the HVAC at the high school, which is the main suite, so library, main office, guidance, SRO's office, that whole area of the high school was not done appropriately or to the standards of an LG certified contractor. So it was very difficult to get a new contractor in to do that work. We were lucky to finally get someone over the summer to complete that work. So this is the final payment of the heat and HVAC pump, or HVAC project, if you would. I will comment that we do have an upcoming meeting on October 7th or 8th, and there is still some work to do at Pecasset, but Rhode Island Energy gave us gave us up to $32,000 in energy efficiency rebates to hopefully do that work. So we still got a little more HVAC work to do, but it shouldn't cost the town or the school $1 for Pecasset. So this would complete. Yes, I did note that during that meeting that we had the big project coming, they literally had to take out every pipe, go on the roof. It was a big, yeah. I just said I didn't have a number. It was tough to even get this. Yeah, not only that, it was tough to get this gentleman's invoice.
Brandon, this might predate you. Do our maintenance personnel touch these systems at all while they are under warranty that you are aware of?
So I know we started, when I came aboard, we did start, basically per this district-wide HVAC issue we had at Fort Barn, we did start to do a log. There is some stuff we do replace ourselves, such as filters, basic stuff.
And that doesn't have anything to do with the
That
warranty?
does not have anything to do with the warranty. Yep. We do have a company, ICM Mechanical, which we did budget for this operating budget cycle, to come out at least once or twice a year to do some more just checking things out so we don't get into this mess in the future.
I have a follow-on question to Councilor Paull. So your predecessors, obviously, I believe, purchased a number of like replacement filters and all that. So if we're going to be doing all this work, are we essentially going to take those filters and throw them in the garbage, or can they be reused?
They've been reused. To your point, I think Pecasset has about 30, so we have quite a few for a long time.
We're good. We're good for a minute.
Not all the schools have them because there are different filters, but yes, a lot of them do. I've seen them in the closet. I'm well aware of them. I went on the Pecasset roof, and I've been on that roof to check things out. So. All right. Getting to the next item is soundproofing. So you guys might recall, if you watch school committee meetings, last year RIDE funded they gave us about $52,000 of a art grant. 45 of that was to fund a sound system. The rest of the money went to our art program at the high school and middle school. But when this new sound system went in, we had a lot of acoustic issues because of the 65-year-old wood surround at the rear of the stage. We tried to work with the fire department to put a very cheap solution into the mix, but unfortunately that failed. And so this is requesting soundproofing of $12,426 to do the high school auditorium. This would include basically the back of the auditorium and a little bit down the walkways of the auditorium. It's not going to do the whole thing. We did a test on some samples, and we believe it's going to work. We also utilize our architect that we utilized during the locker room project, and they believe this is what they recommended to use too, and this was also the company on the Rhode Island MTP. So this is $12,426 to basically do the soundproofing at the high school auditorium.
Councilor Diamandouros.
Yes.
This is kind of, we're talking the auditorium.
Yep.
Anyone thought about replacing those chairs? I mean, safety, really. Those. I don't remember if we've ever had that discussion.
Five-year capital plan, if I'm not mistaken, had an auditorium renovation. We just have not put it forward.
Because some of those Oh, I agree. I almost,
The entire auditorium
Yeah.
does need a renovation.
well, that was there when I was there in 1977. I think those
I'm
chairs
not,
are
I'm
still
not,
the same ones.
not as old as you, but yeah, it was there when I was there too.
Got him.
I couldn't, I just couldn't pass
I know you're not, but she's like,
it. I graduated in 81, I'm not that far behind.
Madam Chair, you're not endearing yourself to the council right now.
We weren't born yet.
They wanted how much?
1981, that's not that far away. We were at the high school together.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
All right,
Yeah,
continue,
so those
Mr.
are,
Andrade.
yeah, we are looking at that because we do lose more seats as the day goes on, but not in this packet tonight. Fire pump at Range Elementary, I think we're all aware of this. We had a deficiency pump, so we had to replace that pump, a little short of $12,000. Gymnasium bleachers at Tiverton Middle School. We have outdated gymnasium bleach.
The fire pump, go ahead, I was gonna ask the same question.
The pump's been replaced already, correct?
Correct.
So how did you pay for it?
Paid out of operating.
Out of operating, so
Yep.
now you're looking for
A
us to
ref-
pay for
yeah.
it through capital.
Correct.
Just to clarify, that's what my question was.
Yep, yep, because as you know, we had no choice. We were paying, we ended up paying $3,200 in fire detail till that was replaced.
There are a couple of items in here that are already completed, correct?
Two of them, two of them. The exhaust fan because of health and safety inspection, and then, three of them. HVAC, exhaust fan, and the fire pump. Yep.
I just want to make that, I want full transparency.
Yeah, and I said it at the school committee as well, and the building committee, as you know.
Brenda, with the fire pump, you say it was deficient. What was deficient about it? Like, was it a defect in the pump? Or
I would have
was it a
to-
lack of maintenance?
From what I was told by Captain Murphy, it was, right?
Operational failure.
Yeah, it's a rare operational failure, and he ordered us to use a fire detail until we had that replaced. It took about 10 business days to get it in to be replaced.
It failed about a week before school opened.
Yep.
Those three items, they were not part of the packet we had sent to RIDE for our 5-year, correct? Because they were failures.
Correct, and those are considered emergency reimbursements, so we can add that to the mix. I clarified
Oh,
that.
we can.
Yeah, I clarified that this morning in email.
Even better.
Yep, most of these projects, other than the software and IT ones, we can add to that mix.
Great.
Yep. So next one's number 7, gymnasium bleachers. Amount requested is $65,000. This is to replace the outdated gymnasium bleachers at the middle school. Building and safety codes, there's some people getting splinters and whatnot being, I think from what I'm told, they're probably about 40 years old. They're actually the bleachers that they moved from Pecasset to the middle school when Pecasset was redone. So I don't have an exact date, but that's what I'm told. But they're obviously, if you've been there, they're pretty old and wearing out pretty well. So,
Question on
go
that.
ahead. Question.
Are they actually used? 'Cause
Yeah,
I
so.
don't recall ever seeing the bleachers pulled out when I was.
Yeah, so they are used, and they're also used by Tiverton Recreation Basketball, and sometimes the Farmers Market. I've been there on a Sunday, and they've been pulled out. So part of that redo, John, is to also make them wheelchair accessible as well, ADA
You know
compliant.
what my next question is gonna be, right?
Yep.
You and I went back and forth this morning.
Yeah.
Outdated bleachers may not meet fire code accessibility or structural. Do they or do they not? I don't like to mince the words. They either meet code or they don't.
Well, they do not meet accessibility and they do not meet structural safety standards. They're warping and they're splintering.
That's it. So
I
they're-
couldn't
so
tell
they're
you about
junk.
fire.
They're junk.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep. Yeah, so I believe Captain Murphy might have put that in a report, I forget what it was, but we definitely, to your point, use the word junk, as you said, yeah, yeah. Tennis court, as you guys know, it's been a hot topic in town, but we originally were going to do a basic repair, correct the footing, but it came to light working with our town partners, the town administrator, new superintendent, building committee, et cetera, and DPW director. that we should do the project, do it once, do it right. And this project entails a total cost of right now of $415,000. The building committee met with the vendor last meeting on September 23rd. The vendor went over the scope of work. This price could increase slightly because part of that meeting with the building committee, they did speak about a retaining wall and a correct pitch on the parking lot side, kind of like what Stu just spoke about at the town farm. We're witnessing the same thing on our side of things with the tennis court. So I did speak to JG Coffey this morning. I was trying to get to see if we were inside that 415 ballpark still, and basically that was the backup quote you have with the 98,000. But it doesn't include that retaining wall and that pitch on the parking lot side to raise that to the correct footing. So as you know, tennis court has a lot of cracks, uneven surfaces. If the surface does not get fixed or the crack does not fix, it does cause a liability risk, which is unsafe. It obviously develops a lot of pooling water because of not the correct pitch.
So because of these liabilities, should we be using in the tennis court?
So we do cover
I mean, you mentioned it here, but.
Yeah, we do cover the cracks and do a lot of maintenance, but it's ongoing maintenance.
So is it a liability right now?
Right now, no, because the cracks are covered. If we don't keep looking at the cracks, there could be one that develops overnight, as you know. We're just putting, as John said, lipstick on a pig right now.
And just during the building committee, Mr. Coffey did talk about that we can fill those cracks just so much and then.
Correct. They did, as they keep expanding, as you know, Craig, there's only so much caulk that you can use, you know? And as you know, you've done a lot of work there, and we thank you, but we know the courts are not pretty. Yeah, I agree.
First round of money would have been more than sufficient to fix the tennis courts.
Counselor Comito?
I'll just give you my opinion.
Ditto.
Yeah, so we can, again, based on what the vendor said, is, you know, you're basically just fixing a court for maybe 2 to 5 years if you're lucky.
My issue is, this was a water issue from what I first understood. Water was running down the hill onto the court.
Correct.
A proposal was suggested, recommended, to trench and riprap or French drain.
Yep.
Strictly to eliminate the water from running on the court.
Yep.
That was not recommended by somebody, and now we went from 100,000 to 400,000.
Yep, so as DPW director's not here, but when he came on board, he reviewed the project when he was going to do the drain, the French drain in the back, and he kind of put a halt to the mix. We spoke to the town administrator. Basically, again, and the company suggested that to do the work right, you can't just put the drain on the back of the tennis court. You really gotta pitch it, get it back up to the correct pitch to extend the life. And if we do it correctly, you're talking 15, 20 plus years. But again, as you know, this request went in front of you at 100,000, so I felt that was a good enough quote at the time, and we presented it. But after we had a more, professional, if you would, with David Sylvia's background, he recommended we put a halt and we get a little more into this. As far as the vendor itself, yes. And he recommends doing this work, and he presented that to the building committee, which Mr. Perry and Ms. Janik sit on.
Not to be rude, but of course he's going to recommend.
Well, no, because
98,000 to 400,000.
yeah, you're right. You're right, Craig. But he's actually the one that said we could have got away with the 98,000 too. However, what is it? Sitting in the capital account, sitting in the approved gaming revenue account.
But our DPW director
done any work.
agreed with him. The only thing that they disagreed was like where they put the drains.
They want to put a drain underneath the court and on the left side and really raise the pitch.
Because we can either spend 100,000 for 5 years, or we can spend 400,000 and it will last for 15 or more.
Yep.
I don't disagree, but the next thing on here is 800,000 for bathrooms.
Yeah.
What
So-
with cracks and then injuries?
I have just a question as it relates to this, because obviously we're talking about a lot of capital expenditures, and I know that there's a committee that's put together on the school side to review these items and bring them forward. Obviously, I mean, the committee members that are on the website are not accurate, like Chris Cotta's
No,
not a member anymore. Peter Sanquioni is not a member anymore.
Yeah.
That lives in Texas.
Erica Peña-Vest is,
I'm not sure on the website, but I did put in your packet who's on that building committee.
I guess my question is, on the building committee, because obviously these are important buildings.
Yep.
Please stop me if I'm going too far afield. Is there any member of the building committee that has any relevant experience in construction whatsoever?
Yes, Susan Zimick controls architectural at URI.
So just one, architect? Nobody
you
like
got-
contractor, build stuff?
Yeah, we bring on contractors as we're doing big projects, and that's why we brought this vendor here the last meeting. We do that, like the locker room, when the locker room was going on, the architect and contractor were at every meeting. Same thing with the bathrooms. I was part of the building committee as a resident, so I'm familiar with that. And then we have the director, DPW, which has a lot of knowledge. And then I don't know about the two other community members. They could. I'm assuming that's why they've been on. I just don't know their background. I know Sue's background.
Okay, thank you.
Brendan, I have a question, because I sat with Denise today. Reimbursement we've gotten so far, we figured it's somewhere like 265, 225, because she's paid all the
Correct.
back bills she had to pay. By March, it'll be 1.2 million.
Correct.
So could some of this wait till March and have that money be put into some of these projects? So some of these projects aren't going to be started right away.
Correct. A
So
lot
what
of
I'm
these will be
asking
the
is,
summer break.
Because in March, you could come to us and say, look, we got 1.2, could we, delay some of this? Like, we haven't gotten to the bathrooms yet.
Counselor,
Correct.
I know I'm
the
going
issue that we're going to run into, and everybody needs to be reminded of this, I think, is that the school department owes the town $1.2 million.
Well, that was my next thing. But I don't think we could take that money, because that's reimbursement for
You can use it any which way at the local level. It's your
But that money's our money. We just segregated it.
You can segregate any which way you want
okay.
for the school.
Because what I'm thinking is, I really am hesitant to give any money to you guys, and not that I don't think that you need this, until we figure out the deficit.
Yep.
Like, where are we gonna get the money for the deficit? And then once we do that, of course, we're gonna give you some casino money, but I think the cloud above our heads right now is that deficit.
Council, we're involved in a deficit reduction plan with the town.
Well, I know, but we haven't.
It hasn't been approved by
It
the
hasn't
council
been
at
approved
this
by
point.
us.
It's
Yeah,
still
we're-
rough draft.
We're at the discussion stage of the
Because
deficit
I'm
reduction
thinking,
plan.
instead of delaying it, what I understand, it might be a 5-year plan. Instead of delaying it, why don't we get you to 0 and then go from there? Because there's a new superintendent now, there's a new business manager, there's a new town administrator. So let's start where we are even and go forward, because we just kick the can down the road all the time. And I just think that before we even discuss how much money we get this time, we need to know what your plan is for the debt.
Yep, we appreciate that, but I will say,
And I'm not saying you don't deserve money or any
no,
of that.
I think,
But I think we need to get
as,
that.
as the superintendent said, I'll just keep it brief, because we do have that subcommittee, and we do meet.
Well, we
meet
need
with
to
the
know
Yeah,
that
we meet
plan.
we meet with the Auditor General, we have to meet again, and then I think we'll get to that step next.
So
You agree?
just to piggyback on Counselor DiMederos' thought train there, because obviously the next item is high school and middle school restrooms. I think the broader picture is what assets is the school department under new administration going to look to keep, and what assets might you shed? Or what does the long-term plan look like for the district? Because right now, we are still making bond payments on a building which is ostensibly closed. That's one of our newest buildings in the district. And we're talking about throwing a portion of $800,000 into arguably the worst building in our district. And so at least for me, I'm a little tentative about just throwing good money after bad if we don't know what the future of the district's going to look like. And obviously, the superintendent's new, so I'd love to, I'm sure you're going to take some time at some point and figure out what the long-term plan is for the district. But as we face an enrollment decline, we've already closed ostensibly one building. What are we doing on a go-forward basis? And I think we need to solve that before we figure out where we're going to put, other than like direct health and safety needs, where we're going to put the money.
Also, the enrollment is going to pick up with all these housing developments. We need to look at that, too.
That's,
and what the
that's,
plan
I
is.
think, the
Right.
long-range plan
Right.
as a whole. And obviously, it's the administration in conjunction with the school committee and what that looks like. So that's just my thought, but by all means, if you want to pontificate on the bathrooms.
Yeah, so I'll, real quick before the bathrooms, Denise, we can very well do that with some of these projects. Most of them would occur during the summer break. However, some of these we've been trying to put on the agenda for a while, so that's why we're putting them
Let's
all.
talk deficit and then
Yeah.
how we're going to put that.
Some of these are important to get paid, as I just mentioned to Mr. Perry's question. However, the last but not least, there is a couple more after the
Brendan,
restrooms.
can we go back to the tennis court?
Yes.
Please. I know the conversation went into other things.
My apologies.
That's okay. Mr. Sylvia's not here right now, but, it was due to some of his changes that increased this cost.
Correct.
So I would have to agree with, Mr. Sylvia, and if he doesn't think that that was going to work with the $100,000, that we had to go to the 415 and get it right, like Mrs. Janik said, Council Janik. We could do 100,000, it's going to last for 2 years. Or we could do 415, it's going to last for 20. Now, which one would you pick?
I don't have enough information to decide, Dave,
Okay,
on lifting the tennis court or
We
somebody
go-
just
we-
going up there saying, shedding the water away is not gonna work. I need a plan, I need an idea, I need to understand it.
Well, if you
Just to say,
you don't go to the meetings, so we get that information at the meetings, Greg, I'm sorry.
what do you mean, I don't, like,
You
never
don't go to
been?
the, you're
The
not
building
on a budget
committee,
committee
the building
meeting.
committee.
The
Okay,
budget
so-
committee.
So if you're gonna
I
come in
mean,
front
the
of me
building
and ask for
committee.
$800,000 or $400,000, I better have the information for me to make a decision. That's the bottom line, Dave.
I don't think we have to go to the meeting. I think we have liaisons.
Well, and I think that's why we're here, because we do go to the meetings. And
Plan on how it's gonna get reconstructed?
We do.
they have a
We
plan.
do.
Yep, we
yeah.
do in the
Yes,
backup
they
here.
do.
Mr. Andre,
I don't have it
started
with
to
me, but yes, they
discuss
do.
that, and the plan's in the
And
backup.
to get back to John's, I'm sorry about this, John, but you asked who was on the building committee? Was there an architect or whoever? Is there someone that knows about planning on this council? Is there someone that knows about zoning on this council? And yet we make those decisions also.
Solicitor.
They shut me off.
No, I'm not signing you off. So just the membership of the building committee for schools is mandated by RIDE regulations. So it consists of the following. The superintendent, this is by regs, it must consist of at least 8 members, including the superintendent of schools, a member of the school committee, a director of building maintenance, a planning board representative, a school principal, a member with knowledge of educational mission and function of the facility, a local budget official or member of the local finance committee, and at least one community member with architectural, engineering, or construction experience. So as a minimum, the building committee by regulation must have at least one person with those qualifications. That's all I'm saying.
Thank you.
So Craig, I can answer any question you want, but in the backup, you can show, the quote kind of shows it, but to Mr. Perry's point, the DPW director was saying if, you have a lot of cracks right now, if you don't really reconstruct that surface, the cracks are gonna continue, and with weatherization, if we have a bad winter, with ice or whatnot, you're kind of just putting lipstick on a pig for a couple of years at the 98,000.
The last quote was for a complete resurfacing. It was
Correct.
to tear up.
Correct, and that's what the quote in front of you for 400,000 is. No, you're gonna complete resurfacing, you're tearing out what's there.
So the
you're-
last quote, Brandon, the last quote, I understand, was a complete resurfacing.
Correct,
100,000.
what? Correct, it's a rebuild, which, to your point,
The $100,000 was to remove the old surface,
correct.
yes? to remove the old surface, it was to re-cement, take the poles out.
Yep.
It was to rebuild all the poles
Yep.
and redo a complete surface. The only problem was the water running underneath the court.
Correct.
Right. So all I'm saying is the DPW was gonna remove all the water from running under the court. We had a plan. They had a plan. And the only thing that I'm seeing different is the new system here wants some drainage in the middle of the court. So there is a little more, there is another rebuild underneath, but it was still not filling, the last recommendation was not filling cracks. It was a complete new
Yep,
surface.
which is right in your backup for 300,000. And then to do the French drains, another 25, and then to put up the pitch on the far side. Correct. Well, it's still similar proposal what you received last time to you. The old one, yeah, there was 98,000 to do, just kind of fill in the cracks, correct the footing. This new proposal, again, to your point, it's very similar to what you saw last time where everyone chose the 98,000. But this goes a little more. They're taking out the asphalt, they're putting a new surface, they're still recorrecting the net post footings. They have to do some work with the fencing, which drives up the price with the pitch. And then they put the final like a final tennis type coat on the surface. And then, as the director mentioned, when they came to do the French drain and do the work, that's when they suggested halting the project to do it right, which is to put some drainage underneath and also do some work on the far side near the parking lot. And then we also had the vendor look at another location if there was better, and the increase in cost of that was about 150,000 more than what's in front of you tonight.
Right, because in August, it was 317.
Yeah.
And then.
Yep, so
now in September, it's 488.
Well, it's 4,
I didn't understand.
no, it's 450, and $100,000 difference.
But
What?
I'm looking at the proposal.
Yeah, what one are you looking at?
And the total amount.
This one right here is 292 plus another 25,
So this is,
317.
see, that's the 317.
Yep.
And then there's another one here.
That's to do a new,
488.
that's to do a new location. We're not recommending that. That's the $150,000 difference. Yeah. So the 317
So
and,
I'm just gonna put an X.
yeah. Yeah, I'm just giving you all the information that I got. And
Because when I saw it, I
And
just didn't.
the emails in the backup kind of explain that as well. This is,
There's so much for us to look at.
I agree, but, yeah.
Brendan, is this the only estimate you got, was from Coffee? Are there other companies that can do this work?
Correct, we go out to bid, so this is just a quote to get the work going and speak to a professional on the project. We would now go out to bid. Coffee is on the MTP of Rhode Island, though.
No, I get that, but I
Yeah.
mean, people can, I mean, this project skyrocketed in price, somebody else might come in
Correct.
after this.
Yep, we definitely go out to bid. I can't just accept this quote without
What
a
do you mean?
bid.
Me personally, like we're gonna talk about with the bathrooms, I wanna see the quote, I wanna see the estimate first,
Well, it's in the back.
from other companies.
Oh,
Just Coffee.
yeah, which is fine, but yeah, that's part of the bid process. I need your approval and school committee's approval first before I get those other quotes, because in order to go out, yeah, we'd go out to bid, we have to advertise in Providence Journal, which costs money.
Doesn't make sense to go to bid unless
Yeah, yeah, and Providence Journal is not cheap these days. They need to hurry up and get 21st
All
technology.
these projects, no matter whether
Yeah.
they all have to go out to bid, even the town projects. So I think that, can't speak for the school department, but I'm assuming that they want to know if they have the support for the appropriation
Yeah.
before they would go out to bid.
Yeah, I'm not-
And then obviously the lowest bid will win, or the lowest qualified bidder would win, but.
The cheapest Providence Journal bill I ever got was about $450, so it's not cheap. It's like $500 every time you go out to bid.
And there is a movement, I know a lot of people like to rely on the master price bid or the quotes on the stick, but I've talked to other purchasers, even if you're on that list, they like to send it, they think it's beneficial to send it out to bid as well. It's a little more time consuming.
Yeah, I would still.
Sometimes you get
And that
low
was my
bids.
point. Thank you, Attorney. Yeah, but I still recommend going out to bid regardless of the MTP. Yep.
Personally, I struggle on it, because does it affect tennis? It absolutely does. But what would $400,000 do for paint? in the high school, the middle school hallways, epoxy on the floor, cover up the asbestos tile that's there. You could completely paint 2 buildings for that money.
Fair point. I think there's a lot to do in the schools, but, yeah, fair point.
This is not just used by the kids at the high school, it's used on Saturdays and Sundays and at night. You know,
Through the
I go
summer,
by
so
there
there's
and I
someone
see
there.
somebody's always playing on the tennis courts. With no
One
lights.
court.
I thought you put the lights in.
What the vision goggles?
That's satisfactory, but there are some.
No, stop that. That wasn't the school satisfying. One light, one court.
One light.
All right, have we belabored
Yeah. Can we get to
the
the
tennis
rest?
courts? Let's talk about the bathrooms. And I'm just curious because I didn't see, I'm flipping through the backup. It goes tennis courts and then there's a bunch of stuff about Conica Minolta and some
Yeah,
letters
so
from
there's-
students.
There's
So
no
back
quote.
up to the bathroom.
No, I'll get to that, yeah.
how many
So-
bathrooms
Yep,
would this
so
do?
this is approximately, we're hoping to, once we get into the project, well, let me tell you a story. So we went to the building committee, this wasn't on a list, the building committee decided to add this to the list on September 23rd, so obviously a very new project for us. This is, the number comes from the 5-year capital plan. So there was 8 bathrooms at the middle school, and it was 6 or 7 at the high school. Based on that,
So these are ones we haven't touched.
these are the ones we haven't touched. So we did about 85% at each school. So these are mostly faculty bathrooms, nurses' offices, guidance suites. Yeah, so mostly faculty and a few student bathrooms.
Can't be many, though.
No, like I said, there's like 8 at the middle school, 6 or 7 at the high school. Yes, correct. And we wouldn't have to probably do what we did at the other bathrooms with the long stalls, because this is mostly faculty, so. Based on that,
Is this thrown in to address the problems that have been happening at the middle school, or?
nope, this has been on the 5-year plan since 2023 to complete the bathrooms, yep. So this project was decided to add to finish off the restrooms at the high school and middle school, as I just mentioned, by the building committee, and then for later in the night, approved by the school committee. So I kind of just went through my justification here, but this is to undertake the final phase of the restroom renovations at both the high school and middle school. To kind of answer Counselor DiMederos' question is, the building committee would, this is kind of the proposal, the first step, and the building committee would meet. And to your point, do we do all 8 bathrooms, or can we combine and do 6 in the main office rather than 4, you know what I mean, stuff like that. So there's still a lot of work, but it's more so we have to put the request in front of you, get the funding, and then we can kind of carry on and get the project to the completion.
But how do you know it's going to cost 800?
Because part of our 5-year capital plan that they set back in 2023, they put an inflation in it, and they give a 5-year number, so we're using that number.
We're using, as we've dealt with before,
Yeah.
an engineer's estimate that has historically come in significantly lower,
Yeah.
right? Hence the security film for the windows and the vestibules. What was the other one that came in at 82,000, but we gave them 2? This is why, to me, I want to see actual estimates. I don't want to see.
Yeah, so once
guesstimates.
if, basically, as the town side, this was discussed a few times, but before, if you gave us a not-to-exceed number of 800,000, if there was any additional money that we needed, we would have to come back to you for.
My issue with that is, we give you 800,000.
Yeah.
It comes in at 400. Well, guess what? While we're sitting here, the next time we vote on that, on gaming,
Yeah.
we could have given you 2 projects.
Yeah.
Instead, we gave you 1, because it came in $400,000 over, or under.
Yeah.
And then you gave us back the money, and then you could have been working.
Gave us back the money with, oh, by the way, we want this.
Yep. But like I said, this was mentioned often with every department that came in front of you tonight. You know what I mean? It's, yeah, no, I hear you. But yeah, we still need a little more work on that project. There is some requirements when projects are over 500,000 through rides requirements. So there's still a lot of bit of work on the project.
We could theoretically put this off until the March when it comes in.
Absolutely. Yeah, that would probably take the amount of time we need
Yeah,
to
because you think
get
about
that
it,
ready,
you're
yeah.
gonna do this.
Yeah, you gotta hire an architect, building committee needs to do final, review final drawings, superintendent has a lot of work. Any project over 500,000, there's a lot to it.
So just like as a historical, at the building committee, which we met last week or the week before, we pulled out the 5-year plan that had been submitted to RIDE. And at first, we were discussing all the different athletic areas, repairs, upgrades. And we wanted to look at the 5-year plan, and the committee felt that these bathrooms we have been talking about for so long, like a decade or more. I was on the budget committee when we started talking about these. And we've gotten some headway, but we still have more to do. And it's a health and human safety. And we felt, and in all fairness to Brendan, we felt, let's talk about this too. Let's throw that on. Because if we don't ask, we don't get anything. So we kind of threw that to you at that meeting. It went to the school committee. I think everyone was in agreement, but we didn't have great figures. We had numbers from the plan we had put in for the 5-year plan. So obviously it needs to be looked at more for numbers and, whether we do 1 bathroom, 2 bathrooms, half of the bathrooms, whatever we do. It is a health and safety issue. Just reminder, the bathrooms at the high school are original. They're 60-plus years old. The middle school, like,
There's only 6 of them. Good. We've done a lot of them.
we've done a
I
lot
had
of
a jar of
them.
it.
Correct.
I
We've
was
done
very
a lot of
impressed with what
it
we've done.
for the kids. And
It's
the-
about 80-85%
By
done,
the
yeah.
time you get all your ducks in a row, we could put this off.
Yeah.
So, like, the March reimbursement. I don't know, it's just an idea, because we have a lot of requests here.
No, and
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea. And we knew that we would have money. We talked about that, Dave, at that meeting, that we'd have money, and we were thinking in the $1 million range, but we knew we didn't have it yet.
Correct.
So if we have it come spring, then that's something definitely we could look
Yeah,
at
the
and
next,
talk
the
about
next draw is
then.
March of '26.
Yeah.
And I don't tell people that I don't feel we should deplete this casino fund, that we should keep it at somewhere like 1.5, because if we have an emergency, if a roof collapses and stuff, we don't have to go into the.
HVAC at Fort Barton
Anything.
goes out.
Right, so I don't think, like, we are not going, I will not vote all of that fund. And already we're pretty high, so, and also the town has to sharpen their pencils and figure it out too, but
My turn?
Counselor Perry.
This was actually put on the building committee with my suggestion. I think Diane, something we both agreed on, and that's not normal.
I'm not.
But I think it's, we looked at it for many years now, and when we did the original project on the bathrooms, I thought all of them were done. That was my understanding. And then we found out that these 14, I believe it is, were not done. So I asked Brendan at that meeting, what's the reimbursements that we're getting back from RIDE? And I believe we're sitting on 360,000.
It's 2 something.
260 will be
260.
about 1.1, 1.2 by March 26.
Right.
And that's
what we figured.
And that's the reason why I put it on. Figuring with the reimbursements, because they were only asking for 750,000, I believe, was your original.
Was the original
And then we
request.
put on the 800,000, that brought it to the 1.5, and that was my fault.
It's all right, David.
It's okay.
If they'll have it by then, and it's a summertime project,
Right. And that's what I figured. We could do this project with the reimbursement money that's coming back. No,
The
it's
school
not.
department owes the town of Tiverton $1.2 million.
I totally understand that.
Well, not 1 point, are you talking the deficit?
The deficit.
The deficit.
So we, no,
There's,
no, no. So
there's
here,
more data in that, I don't want to get too
it's,
off track.
without belaboring the point, just so everybody understands, the town of Tiverton covered the overages that the school department had last year. It's not that somebody wasn't paid for work, it's that we cut the checks. Therefore, in order to make the numbers balance, the school department owes the town of Tiverton 1.2 approximately $1 million.
Yes.
Yeah.
The town is owed $1.2 million.
We have some revenue held in escrow, that's what we're waiting on. So that's what, John's given the exact number that we have to declare through FY '25.
If I could just add something very quickly. The, notwithstanding all of the reimbursement issues and all of that, I'd ask that you at least strongly consider approving those items that are considered emergency in nature. And
Which one?
Which ones are those?
I can go
there
through
was
them
the
after.
exhaust
prior to the
fan,
bathrooms.
that was the.
I can go through them once we're done.
You
I
can
have
go through
three
them all
more.
in
Yeah,
detail.
Yeah.
And that, you
I
know,
have three more.
I understand if there's hesitancy to approve bathrooms, but I would also ask you all, the next time you're at the high school and you come to a school committee meeting, which I know several of you do, I'll take you through the faculty bathrooms at the high school.
That one to the right.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in that one.
Well, that was only my next question for Mr. Haskins. Can any one of us
They are in
tomorrow at 9
deplorable
o'clock
condition.
meet with somebody from your staff and walk one of these buildings?
Maybe not
Yes.
during school, but
Council, I'd make myself available to any member of the council to take a look at the schools. Simply, you can give me a call. I'd be happy to do so.
We're gonna be there on, some of us will be there on Wednesday, right? Right.
At Pecasset.
At Pecasset.
I would just like to say that I met with Mr. Haskins last Friday, I believe, a week ago Friday. And that same question was asked.
Yeah, we had a
Dave.
great conversation last week
I
as
said,
well.
you know, can I walk your schools? And the answer to me was absolutely. You call me, we'll make a time, a date, and you can walk in any one of my schools.
I just wanted to make sure everybody else knew that. I
Okay.
talked to him last week
Well,
as well.
we're going to be meeting once a month. Not Dr. Haskins. Mr. Haskins agreed that we're going to meet once a month, and I'll be able to come back to the council and report back on a monthly basis what's going on with the schools.
There's just so much more that can be done. Some of the recommendations from my walkthrough the other day with the open house were directly from teachers. So, we talked a little bit the other day. Are any of these recommendations coming directly from the teachers who work in these buildings? One of them recommended on their own. How about epoxy floor paint to just completely cover these floor tiles? No asbestos issue, they're completely covered, that epoxy floor paint will last 20 years.
Yeah, that's,
Just an example.
Yeah, we did discuss that maintenance-wise. The first area was getting the fourth grade wing done, painting,
Yeah, that
all
was
that,
great.
yeah.
That was fantastic.
Obviously, we only have a maintenance staff of 12, so there's only so much we can get done.
Well, I think, you know, first we're going to get first.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There's other things I'd like to see also. Blowing out the windows that have been there for 60 years. So I think, well, that's another project, but that all costs money, and lots of money.
So Brendan, let's go through what is Diane talking about, the emergency ones?
So
It's getting late.
I still have three more projects, but they were
You do?
already.
I thought we
Yeah,
already-
so these were already in front of you, but the town council decided to wait until this meeting. So those three projects, real quick, are $11,000 for digital student records. If you remember, it's to replace the microfiche, a very old microfiche and guidance, to make it a little easier to use a software base for the platform of student records. So if a senior 5 years from now calls for their transcript, it's very accessible. Right now, we have to go on a very old and unreliable microfiche. That also helps with the amount of cuts we've had in personnel as well. $5,000 not to exceed a fence net safety barrier for Tiverton High School baseball dugouts. It's the only dugouts that we utilize that don't have a fence or net safety barrier. And last but not least is TouchView's interactive classroom displays. The number is down from the quote in the back because of Fort Barton and a few more teachers that didn't want TouchViews in the amount of $195,000. I did give you a survey of that. That was one of the things that came up in your backup. There's a survey and some questions. There was a 87.8% return on that survey that teachers would utilize and would also like a touch view to utilize in their classrooms. Ms. Simmons also decided to have her first grade give a write-up to the town council in your backup of why touch views are needed. So that was part of our discussion when we were there reading to the kids. That's how far back this goes, but, so.
I love Mrs. Simmons, but I will add, the only reason that touch view's in her room is because at the time, no other teacher wanted it.
So she utilizes a lot, and she's actually a lead, she's actually a subject matter expert in touch views now. And she is a big advocate, and town administrator can tell you why we're there. She wants those touch views very badly for her fellow counterpart teachers. So emergency projects, Councilor DiMederos, if there's no more questions. Because the last thing I'll say before I get into it is, again, the building committee is part of this request. The total request is $1,550,514. But emergency projects would be getting prepared to do the gymnasium court. This would happen in June or July, but we would like to get prepared and get a vendor on because, refreshing this court for so many years is tough. Again, it's tough to say if it's an emergency now or March. We probably could wait till March, but I'd just like to get someone ready and be prepared and get on the schedule to get that done as soon as the school year is over. Flush valves would be an emergency. Those, we don't need any more backups in the schools. Exhaust fan, the HVAC, the fire pump, and,
Is that correct?
So it's number 1, gymnasium court, number 2, flush valves, number 3, exhaust fan, number 4, HVAC, number 6, fire pump, number 7, gymnasium bleachers, and then tennis courts and restrooms would be a summer break project. Soundproofing's tough too because.
You basically just named everything.
No, basically.
Everything but the bathrooms.
No, the little projects.
3 of them are done already.
Not the tennis court or the restrooms, or soundproofing, so.
Oh, okay, I thought you were counting them, okay.
No,
So 7 to 3 are already.
so I'll add that up for you.
Who's paying attention?
And then, would you
It's
consider
all
any
this
of
little
these?
calculator there.
And then.
Were these already prior approved?
So, and then from the prior approved projects that were put on they were tabled by the town council at a previous meeting. But we would consider a lot of these projects, the $11,000 for the digital student records platform, the $5,000 for a defense net safety barrier. We did have 2 individuals get hit last year during a baseball game. And then the touch views we do consider. I'll let Mr. Haskins speak on the touch views a little bit, just because of what we experienced with some students.
If you don't mind, before you jump into that, I know you and I spoke prior to your arrival, Mr. Haskins. The question came up at the tabletop exercise in this room about the age and capability of the singular generator at the middle school. And I noticed that there was no request for a new generator for either the existing town's used warming facility or potentially something at the high school, where we have now spent $2.6 million on the gym area. So I'm just curious if that's going to be on the radar at some point, or maybe if the building committee is aware.
So that's actually being taken care of I'm working with the town administrator and Deputy Chief Ferrera on that. The fire department's involved because they possibly need a generator too. So we're kind of working together on one major quote to present to you guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
And again, the reason for my concern here is,
Yeah.
and again, as I'm sure the council knows, if you're doing the addition, we have 5.4 to spend.
Yeah.
And we've been asked for, 5.7, which we don't have.
Yeah.
And beyond that, this council started down a path on getting rid of the trash bags. Not one discussion here was had around allocating dollars for if we were to move to bins, how we would acquire those, which our previous estimate was in the neighborhood of about $800,000. So we're talking 6 and change at this point. And I don't mean to bring it up because you're in front of us. It's just,
Yeah,
this is
the
a frustration
generator,
that's been building all
I'm
year.
more considering it's going to be probably in a town request with a collaboration. I haven't presented that school committee. Deputy Chief Ferrera, administrative, we have spoke, but we haven't got to that point where we can present you something yet. I think there's 3 generators in town we're discussing, yeah. So one's at the school, the other 2 are in the town, so,
Looking for grant money.
yep.
So before we,
Generators.
so the shelter at the middle school.
Yeah.
The fire department is also requesting, I don't hold me to a station, sir, I'm not exactly sure. It could be Station 3. And there's one more, and then Town Hall. We were looking at a generator at Town Hall. Because what we were considering is, as of, Town Hall does not have a generator, so the power goes out, everybody goes home. So also making Town Hall somewhat of a coop site. So if something were to happen at police department, fire department, we could move operations to another town location other than the shelter.
Mr. Haskins. Did not mean to cut you off, sir.
No, not at all. On the TouchView technology, TouchView technology can provide a tremendous educational benefit for students in the classroom, especially with the introduction of high-quality instructional materials as required by the Rhode Island Department of Education. However, we do have one particular classroom in immediate need of TouchView technology due to the special needs of students in that classroom.
The ask is for 30. Is that what I'm seeing here?
You need more.
Yeah. The ask is for 30. I understand the emergency situation.
Yep. So the original quote was to retrofit every classroom where the teacher showed support, need, and want for a touch view. So the number could be around 30. It's, like I said, you've had this request for a while, and,
This actually came from the prior superintendent.
Correct, and,
It actually came from we didn't spend it all, but now we want these.
Yeah.
Oh.
My follow-up question, again, on the touch views, right? And obviously, this is a policy decision. This is a, administrative, boss employee position. If there is proven benefit that these will increase educational outcomes, I would hope that the mandate would be, we are going to get these, you are going to use them. It's not going to be, raise your hand, who would like one? It's, we are going to make this decision, we are going to utilize these in the classrooms, and if there's definitive positive impacts on educational outcomes, it shouldn't be a, yes, a teacher would like one, or no, a teacher would not like one. It is, you are going to use this because this is part of your job. Similar to like if, the fire department, if a firefighter said, well, I grew up in the old school, I don't need the Scott Air mask to go into a burning building. No, you're gonna put it on, you're gonna go into the building, that's how it's gonna be.
So ironically, Mr. President, Mr. Haskins and I actually had that exact conversation the other day, and my concern was just the opposite. My concern was, with the paper program, you will use it. I would prefer that teachers that are willing to use it and are going to use it, get them first. Because there are teachers, based on an unofficial survey the other night, that not interested in it. But if there are teachers that are interested, and again, talking about Mrs. Simmons, she uses that thing faithfully. I mean, so if there's teachers that want it, sure, but some don't.
The reticence to use emerging educational technology is usually the result of a lack of professional development and support. Education can be faddish. Every 5 years, a new shiny thing comes along. But smartboard technology has been around for over 20 years. And it does have a proven educational benefit. Teachers who are reticent to use the technology require some professional development, some clear expectations, some mentorship, and some time to practice and get feedback. And so I think that would be our approach, is to set the clear expectation, provide feedback around those expectations, and work with teachers to help build their capacity for the emerging technology. You know, a fantastic teacher can teach with chalk. However, the age of education has changed. Children require stimuli, and teachers require a great amount of organization because of just the changing nature of the content that they're teaching. It's not just the what we're teaching, but the how we're teaching, not just what students are doing, but how they're doing it. And this technology would provide them with that tool. But I agree with you. There would be nothing worse than to spend the money for it to sit as a piece of art in the classroom. And so that lack of usage is the administrator's responsibility to clearly communicate expectations and provide feedback around that.
And I can't comment, there is one classroom with the move to the 4th grade that doesn't have one, and now they want one because of, they see the ability to utilize this. So that classroom did not get it when we moved. It went to another teacher that was going to utilize it. So we are keeping track of who's using it and making sure they're using it correctly.
This is my personal opinion. If they absolutely want it,
Yeah.
sure, great, awesome. But, you know, if it's gonna be a forced thing
Mm-hmm.
and not be used or underutilized, I mean, as it is, in my opinion, those tablets are overutilized. Tablets don't teach the kids, the teachers do. One of the reasons my son doesn't go to Tiverton High School is because he was taught by tablet, and that didn't work for him. So. The touchscreen technology is very different than the tablet, and I hear your concern. It has been feedback from the community that children spend too much time on computers, too much time on tablets. But this touchscreen technology allows the teacher to teach to the class as a whole, allows students to participate in the demonstration and the instruction, and can be used in small groups as well. Yeah, over-reliance on technology could be a problem. I think this type of technology is the healthy medium.
Thank you. Any further questions from the council? Gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, thank you for coming. Nope, we have one more item. We have discussion and possible vote to award the contract for installation of infrastructure wiring at Town Hall not to exceed $60,000. This is the $60,000 that we already apportioned by resolution earlier this meeting. So I would like a motion to award that contract as requested by the administrator. Motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Counselor, you're staring at me. No? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? None. Now it would be proper.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded.
Do we have discussion first on that?
We already did that. That was item B1.
Yeah.
I do want to say, for discussion on
Adjournment?
adjournment, thank you.
Are you discussing adjournment?
I am, only because.
Call the question.
Only because, you know, after discussing this with the president
move
and the
the motion.
administrator, I think it's beneficial for us to do it the way we did tonight, instead of just a one-off and launch it. This is a lot of information to digest, and, you know, the public likes to say, where's the gaming revenue go? Well,
Watch this.
we know where it goes.
Yep.
So.
Okay, motion been made and seconded. All those in favor?
I've never
Opposed?
seen anybody discuss the adjournment.